This is Alpha Male 2.0, freedom-focused lifestyle design for men dating multiple attractive women long-term with no lying or cheating or drama. Location-independent business, location-independent income. Your own location-independent business. The freest and happiest lifestyle available to the modern day man, better than any other lifestyle model you can possibly find anywhere on the internet. And I mean that literally. Today, we're going to be going over in great detail one of the core skills all men need of how to date different age ranges of women. Dating a 19-year-old girl is radically different than dating a 37-year-old woman. Completely different. How fast you can get to sex, first date, second date, third date, whether or not they make good FBs, MLTRs, OLTRs, wives. We're going to cover literally from age 18 all the way to women in their late 60s. Because I know there's a few of you out there who are old and date older women. Great. We're going to cover all the age ranges, all of them. Also, I have analyzed this in detail before in my blogs and my books. This is the most cutting edge information on this topic because the dating market has changed a little bit in the last several years, hasn't it? So this is the most cutting edge, up-to-date information I can offer you on this stuff. Not just my experience, but the experience of thousands of you out in the world following these models. So this is really important. If you're watching the video version of this, you can see I have slides because you guys like those. I got to point the correct way. This way. You guys like visual aids. If you're listening to the audio version of this, don't worry, I will describe all the slides verbally, so you're fine. Don't have to worry about this. It's just for you watching the video version. By the way, if you prefer the audio version of this podcast, go to alphamale20.com/podcast. I'm on all 12 of the top 12 podcast platforms. Let's see here. I have to turn on a banner one moment here for the SMIC Vault. This is also very important. We'll talk about this later. I'm going to list everything you get in the SMIC Vault, which is over 300 hours of how-to Alpha Male 2.0 content, 50% dating and relationships, 50% business and 5 flags for just a few $100. But it's only available till Saturday. After Saturday, you cannot get it. We'll talk about this later briefly. Brief aside, I'm going to go through all those details because I know you guys have questions about this. I'll answer a few questions as people file in, and then we will get started. What do you think of Brazil as a flag? Flag for what? Living there full time? It depends on for what. If you're talking about living there full time, Brazil is fine as long as your income doesn't come from Brazil because the economy is chaos. Is college good if no, college is not good. Is college good if my parents are paying for all my bills and tuition? No. While I'm there, I can build my Alpha 2.0 business with no personal expenses. You won't be able to build your Alpha 2.0 business effectively because you'll be spending all your fucking time in classes and homework. So no. College is not just the cost. The problem with going to college is it wipes out the most important 4 years of your life between age 18 and 24. It wipes those out. I was making 6 figures in 1990s dollars by the time I was 27 because I didn't go to college. And all my buddies who went to college, including the ones where their parents paid for the whole thing, were working at bullshit little jobs and barely making any money by the time they were in their late 20s. It sets you back 20 years. So the answer is no. What is the blanket that you have sex, that you used to have sex on? I still do it. Any blanket you want. Any blanket you want. I like comforters, but any blanket you want. If you're having sex on the floor, wouldn't that hurt your knees even with the blanket? Yes. You know what's really funny? This is the truth. One of these days, I'll probably show you. I have little patches of, well, this isn't because of the blanket. I have more sex than most men. I have sex an average of 3 times a week, and I've been doing that for around 20 years. Very few men on earth, including pickup artists, including men who have had sex with lots of women, have sex that frequently and that consistently. I literally have right below my kneecaps, I have hair on my legs like any other guy, but if you look at my hair carefully on my legs when I'm wearing shorts, if you look under my kneecaps, this is true. I'll show you one of these days. I'm wearing sweats right now, so I can't show you. I have more hair, like this circular thing under my knees where the hair is thicker. Why is that? Because of sex. I have so much sex, my skin rubs up against that in bed or a thing. Yes, if you're not careful, you will skin your knees and burn your knees. That's happened. Get really thick blankets. You can also get those exercise mats. You put the exercise mat down, then put a blanket over it. If you have good thick carpet and good blankets, you won't have a problem. Having sex on the floor feels better because there's more friction. When you're pounding on a woman, she goes into the sheet, she goes into the mattress if you're on a bed. On a floor, she doesn't. So you get better friction. Sex feels better on the floor, at least for men. It just does. And for women too. The only time you absolutely can't do it is if you're having sex with a woman who's very skinny and has no ass. Then you hurt her tailbone. So you got to be careful of that. Then you need extra padding and stuff. Maybe you put a pillow under her ass. Figure it out. Many women seem startled if I wrap up the date after an hour or once order food. How do you handle it? You say at the beginning of the date, the first 15 minutes, you look at your watch or you look at your phone. You say, hey, so look, just so you know, I got to be out of here by 5:15. And you say, is that okay? You say it like that. You say it like a little beta. Is that okay? They go, oh, okay, sure. And now you got to wrap it up in an hour, and she was prepared for it. What you don't do is you don't mention time constraints at all and go, gee, I got to go now. You don't wrap up a date like that. Women go, what the fuck? If she wants to order food, she's allowed to on first dates. If you're following my model, she's allowed to order food. If you're at a bar and she wants to order like a cheese plate or something, that's fine. If she wants to order dinner, then great, but you're not going to order dinner. Women generally don't like to do that. Women don't want to look like a pig on a first date, so they're not going to order cheeseburgers and stuff if you're not eating anything. That's it. We call them tatami berms in Japan. All the fucking is on the floor. Oh, okay, great. Excellent. All right, cool. I've had that before. I've had that a few times, but I'm careful. Plus, you can have sex in the bed too. That's okay. I have sex in my bed. I do both. I have sex everywhere. I have a lot of sex. I have sex everywhere. You just don't want to do movie sex, like having sex in the shower. That's bullshit. That doesn't work. It's a nightmare. Don't do it. Sex on the stairs. I mean, you can do doggy style on the stairs. Other than that, no. It looks cool in a movie, but in real life, no. You don't want to do movie sex. Don't do that shit. All right. One or two more questions. We'll start on our topic, which is extremely important. You said 2024 will be the best year of your life. How is that going so far? The first 6 months have not been the best year of my life. They've been good, but they haven't been the best. So now I have to make sure the next 6 months are the best. So they've been good. They've been very good. I'm halfway into the year. It's a good question. It's not the best yet, but I have 6 more months to make it the best. So this next 6 months, I better be amazing. I sat down when I finally was not sick anymore a week ago. I sat down and planned out the next 6 months. I said, Caleb, you need to make the next 6 months fucking amazing. So the last few weeks, since I have not been sick, it's been great. Great. Your rule of thumb for quitting your job is to make 40% of your yearly annual salary per month. Correct. Does that apply if I'm already making $100K per year from my job? I'd have to make 300, 400K. What? I'd have to make 300K, 400K per year. If you're making 120K, your math is off. I don't know what you're doing. No. If you're making 140K a month, let's do a calculation really quick to explain how this works. What he's talking about is when you start your own business, you're allowed to quit when you make 40% of your salaried income. I'll put a calculator on the screen here. 40% of your salaried income per month, 3 months in a row. So if you make 120K divided by 12, that means you're making 10. That's easy math. That means you're making 10,000 a month. So you need your new business to make 4,000 a month, 3 months in a row. If it makes 4,000 a month, 3 months in a row, you can quit. That's it. Real simple. All right, let's get started with our topic here. If you follow the Alpha Male 2.0 lifestyle, and I hope you do, you will be non-monogamous for the rest of your life, like me. I have been non-monogamous consistently for 17 years. I am one of the few men literally on planet Earth who can say that. The vast majority of men in the pickup artist world, the vast majority of men in the red pill world, the vast majority of men in the manosphere world, or any other world you can think of, are non-monogamous. While they're single, then they get a monogamous girlfriend or wife and suffer all the usual consequences, drama, problems, and breakups, including most ex-pickup artists, including most red pill guys, okay? I am one of the few men literally on the entire internet who can say, I've been having sex with multiple women, every week for the last 17 years, going into 18 years. Because I walk my talk. Alpha male 2.0 means you are non-monogamous forever. It doesn't stop when you get married. I'm married. It doesn't stop when you have kids. I have kids. You are non-monogamous for the rest of your life until you are at the point where you literally can't have sex anymore physically, which will be me. Every woman in my life knows, including my wife, knows I will be having sex with at least 2 women or more for the rest of my life until I'm physically unable to have sex, somewhere probably in my 90s. Or maybe beyond with future technology, who knows? Now, that means that you will be having sex with women and dating women in FB, MLTR, OLTR relationships of all age ranges. From 18-year-old girls to women in their 30s, women in their 40s, women in their 50s, women in their 60s. Probably not women in their 70s, but maybe even then. Who knows? I'm limiting this to late 60s. There are not a lot of guys I know who are hot to trot to fuck women in their 70s. I just haven't seen that. But men who are in their 70s or 60s can date women in their 60s. That happens. I have been an example of this. I have been living this lifestyle now for almost 20 years. I have dated and had sex with numerous women who were 18 years old, 19 years old. Most of those women were non-sugar daddy. I didn't pay them a penny. Because this was going back to 2007. They didn't have sugar daddy game back then. I started hooking up with 18, 19-year-olds back in 2008 or 9. I forget. I think 8. They didn't have sugar daddy game back then. You had to just use pure game skill. And I'm doing that for a long, long time. I have dated and had relationships with women in their 20s. Many. Women in their 30s. Many. My wife was originally in her 30s. I have dated and had sex with women in their 40s. Not many, but a hunk, quite a few. The oldest woman I've ever had sex with was when I was in my late 30s. She was 55 years old. And it was fan-fucking-tastic. She was very physically fit, genetically blessed. Wonderful. Great. So I've been from 18 to 55. And as I get older, these numbers will increase. I am 52 years old now. I'm sure as I get older, I'll be hooked up with women in their 40s and 50s, and maybe even someday in their 60s, especially as people get younger looking. In the future, women in their 60s will look pretty damn good. So, and this is what happens when you look at this in terms of dating women long term. You're going to be dating women of all ages. Now, everyone has their own preferences. Some guys, when I talk about dating 20-year-olds, some guys go, ooh, gross. I don't want to date women that young. Great. I'm going to cover your all age ranges today. Some guys are the opposite. Some guys only want to fuck women who are like under 23. Great, fine. You can't marry those women. That's too young. But you can FB MLTRs, have sex. Wonderful. We're going to talk about all that stuff. Okay? All right. So it's very important that you understand these age ranges, because if you don't, you're going to get slaughtered. And one of the big challenges way back in the pickup artist world when I was back there in the 2000s is that a lot of pickup artists didn't really understand these age ranges. They thought that gaming a 19-year-old was the same as gaming a 35-year-old, which is the same as gaming a 49-year-old. It's all the same. All women are the same. It's women are women. Nope. There are huge and radical differences between each decade of a woman's life, and there are key ages, which we're going to talk about right now, age 28, age 33, where very significant changes occur, and women want very different things in their sex lives and their personal lives. So you've got to understand these differences before you get out in the world and just start banging chicks, or wanting to settle down with an OLTR, or wanting to have FBs and MLTRs, whatever your objective is. It doesn't matter what your objectives are. It doesn't matter how old you are. Okay? All right. And as usual, you can ask your questions. I will answer your questions at the end. Rule number 1, this is kind of a rule that kind of arcs over everything we're going to talk about today, is that ASD rises with age. Now, what is ASD? If you have no idea what ASD is, I will describe it briefly here. You really need to go listen or watch my podcast I did on called What is ASD several weeks ago. Go back through my videos and or my podcast and listen or watch that. That's very important to understand what ASD is. If you have no idea what it is, you need to, after this presentation, go watch that one, because it's critically understand. ASD is a term for the pickup artist world. I did not invent it. It stands for anti-slut defense. Here's what it means. It means when a woman wants to fuck you, but she, quote, can't, because that would make her a slut or a whore or inappropriate. It doesn't mean she's not attracted. She is attracted to you. She wants to have sex with you, but if I fuck him on the first date, I don't even know this guy. I don't even know his last name, and I don't want to be a whore. I don't want to be a slut. I don't want him to think I'm a slut, so I better make him wait. That's what ASD is. In a nutshell, it's much more complex than that, but that's what ASD is. Okay. So when you have high ASD, here's the example I gave in that live stream, that other podcast. When a woman has high ASD, but she's really attracted to you, weird things happen. And women act very weird. And I've had this happen several times before I understood ASD. Women over the age of 33, when ASD spikes, we'll cover that in a second. I would have women, it'd be like a first date, usually a second date. Second date, we'd be making out. I'd be grabbing her boobs in the car on the way out the car in the parking lot. And I'd say, let's go back to my place. I can't. Oh no, I can't. I'm a lady. I can't. So what she would do is she'd get in her car. She would drive home as fast as she could. She would masturbate thinking about me and then text me as she's masturbating thinking about me. And I'm sitting there at home alone going, not understanding what ASD is. I was like, what the fuck? We could have just had sex. What the fuck? Because I didn't know what ASD is. That's ASD. She wants to fuck you, but she, quote, can't because it's not appropriate. It's only the first date. It's only the second date. I don't do that anymore. I'm a lady. I'm not a slut. I'm not a hoe. I don't do that anymore. I'm appropriate. Excuse me. I'm a lady. That's ASD. ASD rises with age. Every year a woman ages, ASD goes up until she hits about her mid-50s. We'll cover that in a second. Because ASD is often a result of societal programming. The older you are, the more societal programming gets wired in your head. So of course. So that means an 18-year-old girl has basically zero, in most cases, ASD. She has no ASD. If an 18-year-old girl is attracted to you, she'll fuck you right now. There will be no hesitation. Okay? If a 47-year-old woman, however you want to call it, girl, woman, I don't know how to do that. Let's say she's 40. If she is super horny for you, but it's a second date, she's only known you since the first date, she's not going to go anywhere near you. She'll make out with you. Maybe she'll let you touch her boobies. And that's about it. If you try to fuck her, she'll be offended and angry. She needs to wait 5 or 6 more dates. You got to make commitments, and then she'll fuck you. And then women in their 40s have very high sex drives. She'll want to fuck you every day. A lot of men get confused about this. A lot of men say, wait a minute, women can't have high ASD in their 30s or 40s. That's their sexual peak when they're the most horny. Correct. Women in their 30s and 40s have high sex drives, but also have high ASD, which is one of the reasons they're so frustrated all the time. They want to fuck, but they can't. Whereas if an 18-year-old is horny as fuck, she's fine. She just gets laid. The problem is 18-year-olds don't have the sex drives of women who are older. Well, again, we'll cover all this stuff. So it's important to understand that ASD rises with age. So here's the chart. And if you're listening to this podcast, I will describe it to you verbally. So if you look at this chart, ignore the red line for the moment, just pay attention to the blue line. This is the typical woman, her evolution through ASD. So when she's 18 years old, 0 ASD. If she's attracted to you, she will fuck you. Boom. There'll be no hesitation. She might be nervous a little bit, but she'll do it. Okay. Then between age 18 and 33, it slowly rises. So when she's 26, she has a little ASD. Some, not a lot, but some, right? 28, she's got a little more. Then she hits age 33. What happens at 33? Boom! It spikes way the fuck up. Now, these are averages. Some women, maybe this happens at 31. Some it happens at 34 or 35. But the average is age 33. It fucking spikes into the stratosphere. Now her ASD is sky high. And I'll talk about exactly what that means in a few minutes for women of that age range. So now, if she likes you, she's not going to fuck you. She's going to make you wait, motherfucker, because I'm a lady and I deserve respect. And I don't do that anymore. I'll give you my example. I had enough women before I understood all this dynamic years ago, and I was dating lots and lots of girls, lots of first dates, second date, third dates. I'd have all these over 33 women saying, well, I don't do that anymore. I try to have sex on the second date, not the first date, second date. Oh, no, I don't, and you'll see it in online dating profiles. Look, I'm not here to have fun. Women over 33. I'm not here to just have fun. Look, I've had my fun. What a great attitude. I've had my fun. I don't do that anymore. And I kept seeing that and hearing that over and over again. I went, okay, do that anymore. That means you used to do it. So why don't I just stop dating women over 33 and focus on women in their 20s and early and late teens and see how that works? And I got laid like a rock star. I went, of course. Why was I fucking around with women over 33 for so long? So back then, I drew a line at age 33 and didn't date any women if they're over 33, with some exceptions. Occasionally, I let in an exception for certain reasons, including my wife, Pink Firefly, who was literally 33 when I met. There are exceptions to every rule. But anyway, So at age 33, it spikes up. And then as you can see, between age 33 and 50-ish, it slowly rises even more. So in her 40s, her ASD is sky fucking high, even higher than 33. Now, it doesn't spike anywhere, but it slowly rises at an already high level. Then finally, around her early 50s, early to mid 50s, it finally starts to break down. It finally starts to drop after fucking her whole life. After 50 years, the ASD finally starts to drop a little as she realizes she's not smoking hot anymore. She's getting old. She can't compete with the younger women anymore. Many of you noted a year ago, one of the famous models from the 1980s wrote this big article that went viral. Was it Cheryl Tiegs? I think it was Cheryl Tiegs, who was really hot in the 80s, 90s. She was gorgeous. And she wrote this big article about men are assholes. I walk in a room and no man pays attention to me. I go to a party and no one pays attention. None of these men pay attention. They all go after these young bitches. What the fuck? Yes. When women hit that zone, usually in their 50s, then their ASD starts to drop because they know they can't keep it that high. Now, this red line here are women who maintain their attractiveness post 33. So if she is still fit, skinny, and hot into her 40s, and the vast majority of Western women are not. Okay, let's be real here. They're not. They're fat and, right? This is normal. If she maintains her physical appearance, if she's still attractive in her 40s, her ASD is even higher, and it keeps going and going and going until her 60s. So the highest ASD women on earth are women in their 40s who are still really hot. Case in point, my wife, Pink Firefly, is a size 0 with a six-pack abs, perfect body if you like this body, triple D boobs, beautiful face, long hair, and she's 44. So if I died tomorrow and Pink Firefly started dating again, I don't even know if she would, but if she did and you tried to fuck Pink Firefly, good fucking luck. She'll wait months before you're getting in there because she is ultra high ASD. Now, the side benefit of ASD, I've mentioned this before, is when you're in a non-monogamous relationship with a woman with high ASD, she won't fuck other men. That's why Pink Firefly will not have sex with other men, even though I'm having sex with women every week, even if we're apart months at a time. So that's the side benefit. So that's why marrying a woman with high ASD might be a good idea if you're jealous, if you're the jealous type. Okay. All right. So that's the general model there. Let me take a drink of water. Hang on. Why am I yelling? Caleb, calm down. You guys are asking a lot of questions. I will get to the end, I promise. All right. So now we're going to cover the age ranges. We're going to start at 18 and go all the way up. So the first age range is what I call VYW. That means very young women. That means women between the age of consent in your country, whatever that is, and age 23. I say, and for the rest of this presentation, I'm going to say age 18. I realize a lot of you live in countries and regions where the age of consent is lower than 18. Great. 17, 16, sometimes 15. I mean, Paraguay, it's something like 14. Okay, great. Okay, whatever I don't go that low, but all right. So I'm going to say age 18, but if that's not the age of consent in where you live, then convert that in your head to age of consent. Okay. Age VYWs are teenagers. A woman is still a teenager until she's 24. People think she's not a teenager. She's a teenager until she's 20. That is incorrect. Women engage in teenage behaviors until they were 24. So if you're dating a 20-year-old, 21-year-old, 22-year-old, or 23-year-old, you're going to deal with teenage behaviors from that woman. And those of you who have dated many women of that age range, and I've dated bazillions, you know what I'm talking about. They act like teenagers. They do all the stupid teenager stuff, the good and the bad. When she hits 24, then she will start to slowly adopt adult behaviors, but not until then, even if she has kids. Even if she has kids. There's plenty of women I know who had kids at 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. They're still acting like teenagers. With exceptions. There are always exceptions to every rule. Well, Caleb, one time I did a 19-year-old who was very mature. There are exceptions to every rule, motherfucker. We're talking about the vast majority of people. Yes. And you can find exceptions to anything I'm going to talk about. And I'm sure I'll have some women in here, well, I'm 32 and I don't feel that way. There are exceptions to every rule. The exception proves the rule. All right? So here are the characteristics of women between age 18 or age of consent and 23. Number one, top list, ultra low ASD, virtually zero ASD, very fast sex once you get her out on a date. So if she likes you, she'll fuck you right now. There will be no hesitation. No, oh, I might be a slut. There's none of that stuff at this age range. That comes later. Okay. Now, the downside to this is if you're an older man, if you're in your 40s, you want to go out on a date with a 19-year-old, getting her to that first date is going to be a lot more difficult because she's only 19 and you're 42 and, oh, that's weird. And, oh, I don't know. And so getting women out on dates at this age range is harder also because they're flaky. Cover that in a second. But once you're on that date, your success ratio is extremely high. So here was my experience. Way back years ago, before I understood these models, I was testing things. I was in my 30s, late 30s, okay, mid to late 30s. And I could snap my fingers and just fill my calendar with dates with women over 33. Women in the 30s and 40s, I could fill my calendar, snap, and get 20 dates scheduled, no problem. And I wouldn't have sex with any of them because of their ASD. I try to have sex with them on the second or third date. Oh, no, I'm a lady. I don't do that, right? So then I reversed it, and I said, let's go after just women who are like under 23. So 18 to 22, something like that. And what's interesting is that it was the opposite experience. I had a lot more trouble getting these younger women to agree to go on a date with me, of course, because I was older. Now, this was a long time ago when late 30s was an older man. Today, women don't think of this. It's actually easier today. So I'm instead of getting 20 first dates, I might get 4 or 3. I might get 3 first dates with like 19-year-olds. But I'd have sex with all 3 of them, or 2 out of 3 by the second date. I'm like, well, this is way better. Yes, it takes more time and effort to schedule dates, but so what? The results are better. Okay, so it's harder to get them on dates, but the ASD is lower. So my close ratio when I go on a first date with a woman under the age of 24, sugar daddy or not, it doesn't matter, is extremely high and has been for 15 years. But getting them on that date's hard. Okay. Harder to get on dates due to age difference. I already mentioned that. So just be aware that if you are much older, it's going to be harder to get a 19-year-old to agree to go on a date with you if you're 45 than it will be for a woman who's 40, right? Just stands to reason. Less sexual. This is something new in the last several years. Less sexual because, I'll describe this, less sexual now because of left-wing and low-sex generations, millennials, Gen Z, and Gen Alpha. Generation Alpha is the generation under Gen Z. So women, my understanding is, you guys correct me if I'm wrong on this, women who are 18 years old right now in 2024 are not Gen Z. Gen Z's past that. They're what they're calling now Gen Alpha, which is a terrible name. Maybe they'll change that name. So millennial generation, Gen Z, and Gen Alpha are the most left-wing generations the Western world has ever seen, certainly America has ever seen, and they are the lowest sex generations we've ever seen. I've analyzed this in great detail on my books and blogs and podcasts. They're just not having very much sex. My generation, Generation X, back in the 80s and early 90s, we were humping and a pumping. We were having a great time. Baby boomers in the 60s and 70s were fucking each other left and right. Not these generations, they don't. So be aware that these younger women today in the collapsing era of the 2020s are not very sexual. Something else. Women of this age range are not super duper horny, with exceptions. The horny women are the women who are in their 30s and certainly 40s. Those are the horniest high sex drive women out there. Correcting for things like cultures and races. I'm talking about just in general, okay? There aren't a lot of 19-year-old girls who are just super fucking horny all the time. They exist, but they're pretty rare. There are lots of women in their 40s who are horny all the time. So if you mix these two things together, the sex drive is lower. So if you get into a relationship with these women, they're not going to be hot to trot to fuck you all the time like a 42-year-old woman will be. Just be aware of this. I'm not saying you can't have a lot of sex with these women. I still do. Although these days I go like, higher 20s. But anyway, just be aware of this. This is a new thing. And this is going to get worse over time as less and less people have sex in the collapsing Western world. This is one of the big negatives of women this age. And this is why I stopped dating women as young as 18 quite a while ago, unless one jumps on my lap, which occasionally happens. Extremely flaky and disorganized. They will flake on dates. You'll schedule appointments and they'll just forget. They'll be 2 hours late, worse than any other age range, any other age group. Why? You're dealing with teenagers. Are teenagers good at managing their time? No. Teenagers plus they're girls. Are women generally good at managing their time as compared to men? Let's be honest, no. So you have to be very patient if you're going to date women in this age range. A lot of you guys are very outcome dependent anal motherfuckers, and if someone is 5 minutes late, you lose your shit. Not good if you want to date women under 24. Keep it way over 24, and then you'll be fine, or at least much better. Women still flake, but not as bad. The flake rate for dates, first dates, second dates for women of this age range can be as high as 90%. And it's not because they're assholes. They're teenagers. They forget. They don't sit down and make a schedule, and they don't do that shit. So just be aware of this. And if you're at a time in your life where you need a regular, very specific schedule, you want to avoid women under 24, which I generally do now. And I've done that for several years, with exceptions. Very irresponsible behavior. Again, you're dealing with teenagers. So this is the age where they drink a lot, get drunk. And I mean get drunk where they're like throwing up drunk, and they fall asleep and they miss appointments, and they sleep in, and they're 3 hours late for work, they get fired. They do a lot of stupid drugs, and they don't understand how to mediate this stuff, or they smoke weed every day, or they're doing prescription. You're going to see a lot of bad decisions, getting pregnant by accident. All that bullshit happens here. Getting big, stupid tattoos. All those bad decisions happen for most people, most women under the age of 24. So be aware, again, if that bothers you, shouldn't date women this young. I'm very alcohol independent, so I don't care if women act like maniacs. That's fine. But just be aware of this. Also, why you shouldn't get an OLTR with a woman in this age range. MLTRs for 18-year-olds are fine. FBs are perfectly fine. FBs are great, as long as you're patient. No OLTRs. I've talked about that in the last podcast. We talked about this. It's very stupid idea to get a girlfriend who's 22. That's just, you're being stupid. Cheating on boyfriends, extremely common at this age range when they have them. Monogamy doesn't work, okay? But it really doesn't work with women under 24. A significant percentage, more than 50% of all the women I've ever had sex with in my life under the age of 24, that is a very, very, very large list, were cheating on a boyfriend. So just be aware of this. She's probably going to have a boyfriend. True story, okay? That I just found out about this somewhat recently. Here in Paraguay, I was with a woman years ago. She was 18. This is many years ago now. She didn't tell me until 2 years later that was her first time she ever had sex. And I didn't know this. So I took her virginity and I didn't even know. She's a real sweetheart. I just saw her yesterday. I said, really? Yeah. I said, are you just saying this? No, you were my first. What I didn't know, she just told me this recently. She's, in her early 20s now. She had a boyfriend when I had sex with her for the first time. She had a beta male young boyfriend she was stringing along and didn't have sex with. I didn't know any of this. So this is not unusual with women that age. Just be aware of this, okay? Binary. This is a generality. This isn't always true, but generally this is what I've seen, not just the United States, but other countries around the world with women this young. Women this young are either not having sex at all, again, Gen Z, okay? They're not having sex at all, and you're the only one that she's having sex with, and she's out of her comfort zone even to have sex with you. Or she's a horny little hoe and she's banging dudes all over the place. It's kind of one or the other. I'm in Paraguay right now. You see a lot of that in Paraguay with women in their 20s here in Paraguay. They're either just hypersexual Latinas and just banging dudes and having a great time, or they just don't have sex. If they have sex, having sex with one guy sporadically, that's it. Even if they have boyfriends, some of them don't have sex, like I mentioned. So just be aware of that. All right, now we're moving on to the next age range. Age 24 to 27. This is different. Different. Very low ASD, but not zero. So they don't have the zero ASD that the VYWs have, not even close. But still pretty low. So if she's 24 to 27 and she's attracted to you, she'll probably fuck you, most likely. Not definitely, like the 19-year-old. She has some ASD rises with every year she ages, okay? And she'll have more ASD at 27 than she will at 24, but still pretty low, pretty good. Not a big deal. Much less boyfriends at this age. Women in their mid-20s, I have found, tend to be, I'm an independent girl, I don't need a boyfriend. There's a lot of that stuff. That kind of stuff really spikes in the middle of her 20s before she turns into a provider hunter in her late 20s, early 30s. So a lot less women in that age range have boyfriends. Okay, if that's good or bad, doesn't matter. It doesn't matter to me. Finally, you get less crazy and irresponsible behavior from the BYWs. When she hits 24, often she goes, oh my God, I can't get drunk every night and throw up. I gotta, get a job and be a normal person. So you'll see a lot of this where they kind of clean up their act a little bit. They get more responsible. You'll really see this transformation around 23, 24. And certainly by the time she's in her 27, she's between 24 and 27. Less. Now, that doesn't mean she makes good choices. There are plenty of women aged 24 to 27 who are dumbass morons who make a lot of stupid decisions. Okay, I'm just saying less than when she was young and stupid. Men, I have found, many of you included, generally find this age range to be the best, the sweet spot. Age 24 to 27. Men really like women at that age. They're still young and hot, but they're not quite as stupid as insane as they were when she's 22. There have been many discussions, including with me, where age 27 is almost like the ideal age. Age 27, I'll be honest with you, is a very good age for FB, MLTR, OLTR, anything. Age 27, just a really, really good age for women. She's young, she's hot, she's not stupid. She's not a hardcore provider hunter yet. It's coming, especially around 28. We'll cover 28 in a second. So just be aware that now, whether that's true or not, I'm just saying a lot of men consider that age range as, quote, the best. All right, now, age 28. This is where the transition begins. This is where the spike of death occurs. That's 33. The 28 is where the transition begins from young, carefree woman to something very, very different. Okay, now, number one, top of the list for age 28. I have seen this happen many, 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 many times. If she doesn't have kids yet, she will suddenly want kids. This is when the biological clock for most women really starts to tick at age 28. I have seen several women before they're 28. They don't care about having kids. They never thought about having kids. They don't give a shit. Oh, maybe I'll have kids. Maybe I don't know. They have their 28th birthday. They're 28 now, and they wake up. They start thinking about babies, and they're like, "I'm thinking about having babies. What the fuck?" I've seen this happen more than once. I don't know what it is about age 28. It must be a biological thing. I understand. I'm just telling you, this is when it really starts to kick up, the biological. If she doesn't have kids yet, if she already has 2 kids, fine. She's already a single mom by then. She probably doesn't want more. She might want more, but she doesn't need more. But I'm talking about if she doesn't have kids and she's 28, that's when she's going to start talking about having kids. It's going to be on her mind, and it's going to start getting worse and worse over time with most women. Yes, there are exceptions of women who don't never want kids. There is a slight spike in AST, not like when she's 33, nothing like that, but there is a slight spike upward at 28. The process has now begun. There's a difference, a significant difference between 27, 26, and 28 with AST. It's not a massive thing. It's not like she'll still fuck guys, but she's going to take her time now, a little more time. A slight spike in provider hunter desires, again, because the biological clock. If you don't know what provider hunter is, that is a woman who is only dating to find a serious boyfriend or husband. That's the only reason she's dating. This provider hunter desire starts kicking in at 28. It spikes at 33, but it starts to kick in a little bit at 28 for most women. As I said, this is truly the dividing line between the young, carefree, fun girl and the older woman who needs to settle down and get a boyfriend and have kids and stop fucking around. And this is where it begins. That line, I talked about the line for men is 35. The line for women is around 28. The age of doom, age 33. Now, before I go into this, let me cover SMIC Vault very quickly. Hang on a moment. And I'll get back to this in a second. The SMIC Vault is available right now. www.caleb. And you have to type www, I'm sorry. www.caleb.top/SMIC. This is a repository of over 300 hours of how-to alpha male 2.0 content. 50% is dating and relationship topics. 50% is business and 5 flags topics. I'm going to give you a specific list in a minute. That is not available in any other course I've ever sold, and not things I talk about publicly. It's stuff I can say privately. A lot of this shit I can't talk about publicly because you know why. It's all in SMIC. I did it for 12 years, starting back in 2012. You can buy all of it for a few $100. All of it. Hundreds of hours. Hundreds. Until Saturday at midnight. After that, you cannot get it. I'm shutting it off. Let's see here. 40 training sessions, 80 group Q&A coaching calls, hundreds of audio trading sessions, 220 hours of video, 84 hours of audio, hundreds of pages of documents. Again, not available in any other course I have, not available in any public information I have. This is my best stuff. It was for the SMIC program when I was running it. I say my best stuff for them. I talk about detailed information on my life, specific women I was fucking, stuff I was doing in my investments, stuff I was doing in my business, everything. Here's a specific list. I'm just going to run this down. I can't go through this entire list. These are various topics we cover in the SMIC program. Again, half dating relationships, half business and 5 flags for just a few $100. Investing in silver, how to do a threesome, conversation skills with women, Alpha 2.0 business model, contraception, TRT tips and tricks, how to address hair loss, 5 flags, how to get started, how to deal with your fears, verbal fluency, how to make yourself more attractive to women, peer-to-peer accountability. What else? Sales skills, how to find a niche, 3 types of business models, how to monetize a blog, how to sell digital products online, online marketing, how to handle a second date, how to handle a first date, how to prevent flaking, conversation skills, seduction as a business, managing your dating life as a business, which is what I did. International travel, apps for location and penance, how to get started with 5 flags, Bitcoin stuff, how to stick with one project, disaster preparedness, how to meditate, lifestyle management for younger men, time management as a side hustle, time-saving tips, mindfulness, self-discipline. I mean, it goes on and on and on. How to plan your year, how to stop getting one-itis, how to manage women and your finances, how to manage both those aspects at the same time, managing FBs, quality of sex, high-end MLTR management, sexual skills, writing ad copy, cold email marketing, how to keep a profitable membership program. I mean, sugar daddy game, how to game tens. This is stuff I don't talk about publicly. Travel hacking, cryptocurrency. I mean, it goes on. You see how big this list is? Minimizing guy drama, creating an OLTR, how to do the talk, upgrading and downgrading, women, passive residual income, traveling with women, real estate investing, asset protection. I mean, I'm just going down the list. There's tons of things. If you're listening to this, there's tons of things not listed here. Managing gold diggers, how to deal with Valentine's Day. I mean, I'm just going through all these things. That's just a small piece of the list. www.caleb.top/SMIC. You have exactly 3 days left, and I shut this off. This is my best stuff. It's a few $100 for 300 hours of content. It is also not part of the bundle I just did a few weeks or months ago. It's not part of that bundle. That was courses stuff. This is everything I talked about in the SMIC program from last year all the way back to 2012 that I never revealed anywhere else, including in my courses. A bunch of you asked for me to do this again. I'm doing it again. Just until Saturday, then I shut this shit off. I don't want to sell this permanently. Hell no. I'll lose money. No. Okay? www.caleb.top/SMIC. You got 3 days left. Cool? Cool. All right. Let's get back to our topic here. All right. What I jokingly call the age of doom, because it kind of is. Age 33, my favorite age. It's really funny. When I started talking about age 33 in my blogs, a number of you in my audience pointed out, Kill, did you realize that every one of Tom Cruise's divorces, all 3 divorces, were when they hit age 33? I'm like, yeah. You'll see a lot. You'll see age 33. Now that you realize what age 33 means, once I describe it, you'll see it all over the place. You'll see it in your personal life. You'll see it with women you know, women you've dated, celebrity women. Age 33 is where the demon arises. Number one, that thing that happens, massive spike in ASD, like I showed you on that chart. It goes way off the charts. She goes from a ASD level of maybe a 6 to a 10, like in 1 year. And again, age 33 is an average. It's not 100% of all women at age 33 will do this. The vast majority will. Some will be 30. Some will be 32. Some will be 34. Some will be 35. Some never. But the vast majority, age 33 or close to it. Okay? What if you're saying age 33 women are hot? Notice I have not discussed physical appearance at all, because that's not relevant to these conversations. Women in their 30s today are smoking hot. Most of the Instagram models you guys are jerking off to are over 30, well over 33. So this red pill thing about, her ovaries are shriveled up, none of that matters. Women today in their 30s are smoking hot. I'm not talking about physical appearance at all. I'm talking about how they behave. Okay? So a massive spike in ASD. You will not be able to fuck a 33-year-old woman you just met on date 1 on date 2. You will not. It will not happen, with rare exception. It will not on date 3, probably not either. Date 4 or 5 if you're lucky. That's the way it goes. Because she doesn't do that anymore. When she was 24, she'd fuck guys the first and second date all the fucking time. But not now that she's 33. She's a lady now. I don't do that. Excuse me. I don't do that anymore. Excuse me. You're going to be a lecture. Okay. Massive and hard shift to 100% provider hunter. As of now, the only fucking reason she's going to go on any dates is she wants a serious monogamous boyfriend or husband right now. And that's it. She's not dating to have fun. She's not dating to get laid. She's not dating for male attention. She was doing all that shit prior to 33. Not anymore, motherfucker. So you better be your fucking guy. You better be boyfriend quality. You better be your boyfriend right now and commit, or fuck you, you player. Assumes an overall bad attitude toward dating in general. Dating is no longer fun. It's now a nightmare for her. Ask any woman in her 30s who doesn't have a boyfriend, how do you like dating? And just watch the look on her face. It's hilarious. I've done this many times with just random women I know or women I've met. They go, oh, I hate men. I hate men. If you ask a 25-year-old, she goes, whatever. Right? Dating is a nightmare from hell for women over 33. They hate it. They hate it. No longer has sex on first, second, or even third dates with men she doesn't already know. Now, with men she doesn't already know. If you already know a woman over 33, you can use social circle game and have sex with her quickly. That's a loophole in the system because she already knows you. So in her woman logic world, it's okay if she fucks you because she already knows you. So I've had sex on the first date or first meet with women over 33, but the women already knew through work or whatever else. But if you meet her, day game, night game, online dating, nope. Sorry. If you want to date women, you get laid faster, you're going to go under 33 like I talked about. Will demand, not always, but often in most cases, if you start seeing her, first date, second date, third, she will demand monogamy and or some other exclusivity immediately. Often before you, even if it's sugar daddy game. Even if you meet her on a sugar daddy site and you're paying her for sex, she'll say, oh, we need to be sexually exclusive. Bitch, I'm paying you. Yeah, just be aware. Not all of them do this, but a lot. She would have never done this when she was in her 20s. She would never done this when she was 19. But now that she's 33, fuck you. She will demand multiple dinner dates or other similar event dates pre-sex. And she will actually get offended if you don't get... So in other words, my model is you go to a bar or a coffee shop or a deli for the first date, spend $0 to $20 the first date. Then the second date, go to another bar or your house, then have sex the second date. That's my model. She won't do this. And many of you have had this experience. I've had this for over 33 women. You say, hey, let's go to this bar. Let's meet at this Starbucks. And she'll go, can't we get dinner? Yeah, that stuff starts happening around 33. Okay. This is another big difference. And this shocks a lot of men. A lot of men are blindsided by this. I was blindsided by this years ago before I understood it. She will actually get angry or offended if you try to invite her over to your house quote, too soon, or try to have sex with her too soon. So if you follow the Black Dragon Alpha 2.0 dating model I teach, I've been teaching for almost 20 years. You have a 1 hour first date, coffee shop, blah, blah, blah. Okay. The second date, you try to get her over to your place. If she says no, then you go to another bar. Okay. If she's over 33 and you say, let's come over to my place, the second date, she will be angry. If she's 27, she'll say, no, can we go to a bar instead? Oh, okay, sure. And she won't care. But if she's 36 and you say, hey, just come over to my place, we can just hang out. Excuse me? You want me to come to your, excuse me, I'm a lady. And she goes all bent out of shape and pissed off. You player asshole, be aware of this. So if you violate the model, not only will it not work, she'll get angry. This all happens at 33 and sticks with her for several decades, as we're going to talk about. Okay, so be aware of this. I'm going to say this again. If this all sounds horrible to you, then do what I did many years ago. Draw a line at age 33, let's say 32, and just say, I don't date any women over 33. With exceptions. So that's what I did many years ago, and I let in a few exceptions if they were really hot, or if I knew they were lower ASD, or things like that. Pink Firefly was an over 33 one, but she had lower ASD that was average, what was typical. But even, hang on one second. Even Pink Firefly, I've told the story many times. We didn't have sex till the third date. Now that's pretty good for an over 33, especially a really hot one. I tried to hook up with her on the second date. It didn't work. Okay, we did some stuff. But we didn't have sex. But see, I knew this going in. When I saw her on the dating app, when she messaged me, I looked at her and was like, damn it, she's 33. God damn it. I'm going to try to fuck her on the third or fourth day. Then she'll give me a big lecture about how she's a lady. And I delayed responding as a whole. I've told the story several times. All right. Next age range. Age 34 to 39. So this is her 30s post 33. Her ASD will continue to rise. My God. It was high at 33. It's going to get even higher. So at 39, it's even fucking higher. It doesn't spike. I showed you the chart. It doesn't spike up like a hockey stick. It just slowly keeps going as she gets into her 30s. So the typical 39-year-old will have even more ASD than the typical 34-year-old, right? You'll say, let's go to a bar. She'll say, can we get dinner? Let's go get dinner. And then let's go see a play. There's a new play. I found there's a really great play. You should take me to this play. And then we should, like, bitch, I don't even know you. The entire process of dating irritates her, as I mentioned earlier. She just wants a serious, monogamous boyfriend or husband right the fuck now so her pain will end. She perceives her pain will end. What happens is she will get with some beta male and then she'll get bored of him in a few years and break up and have a divorce. None of that processes in her woman brain, though. She just hates dating and hates dates and wants to be with someone. What the fuck? Why won't someone just shut the fuck up and be with her? I remember watching an interview with Charlize Theron. She was in her late 30s, I think, maybe early 40s. I think she's late 30s. And she's like, why doesn't any man just fucking step the fuck up and just fucking make me his girlfriend? What the fuck are men's problem? That's women in the 30s. Again, women don't talk like that in their 20s, do they? Do you ever see any women talk like this in their 20s? With rare exception. Occasionally you get some like extreme right-wing tradcon Christian born-again girls in their late 20s. But other than that, you just don't see this. You see this in their 30s. By the way, I've said this many times. 30s is the worst decade for a woman's life, in a woman's whole life. 30s is very painful for a woman. It is. 30s is the worst decade for a woman in her entire life. 40s is less horrible than 30s for a woman. Because 20s is great. Everybody wants to fuck her and she's carefree and relaxed and doesn't worry about kids or jobs. Now, that's happening less true now with the depressed Gen Z generation, but generally speaking. Okay. Some women in their age 34 to 39 and in their 40s just bail out of the marketplace, all the dating marketplace. They just say, oh, fuck this. And they just stop dating. These are the cat ladies. Okay. They don't own a cat to do this. I have some ex-FBs and MLTRs who did this. The woman I had after my first marriage, so way back in like 2008, 2009, the first woman I had a pretty serious relationship with, serious MLTR, I didn't have those terms back then. She did this. We broke up. We got back together. I have a 94% return rate. So she came back a few years later. And then since then, we broke up again. She has not dated any other guy. She's not had a boyfriend. It's been 14 years since I've seen her. We're still friends on Facebook. I'm still friends with all my ex-FBs, MLTRs. She doesn't date anybody. Matter of fact, a few years ago, many years ago, we talked about this. She goes, you know, occasionally if I'm really horny, I'll go down to the bar and find a guy, make sure he wears a condom. But other than that, there a lot of women just bail out. And she's pretty. Some of these women are the fat girls, but some of these women are the pretty girls. They just say, oh, fuck this. Oh, fuck. They just give up. Like, oh, fuck it. I'll just use a vibrator the rest of my life. A lot of women do that in their 30s, 40s. Not a lot. I don't know what the percentage is, but it's a decent hunk. Again, do you see women in their 20s doing this? No. So FBs, MLTRs, OLTR. How does that work with women this age? Well, FB is okay for a woman age 34 to 39, if she has another guy kissing her ass. Boyfriend, husband. I don't recommend married women. Or some beta male she's dating who's slobbering over her, who's giving her all the provider hunter attention. Great. She'll make a great FB. I've had many FBs in that age range, and I like women in their 30s. I think they're hot. Strong sex drive. Sex is good. All good. But you can't be the only guy on her radar. She won't accept an FB. She'll say, let's go out and get dinner. You'll say, no, you're an FB. And she'll say, fuck you. And you'll never see her again. Okay. MLTRs. Possible. I've done it. Very difficult. So I've talked about this before. I'll repeat this. I said this, I think, last week. You got three conditions in terms of dating, in terms of a woman's brain. You have casual fucking. Okay. You have dating, but not yet serious. And then you have serious boyfriend, girlfriend, right? So in Alpha 2.0 parlance, that would be FB, MLTR, and OLTR. Women under 33 are cool with all three of those conditions. Casual fucking, dating, but not yet serious, boyfriend. They like all three. Women over 33 are cool with casual. She'll fuck the pool boy. A 39-year-old will fuck the male boy at the office. She'll let him fuck her fast. But that's okay in her woman logic because we're not dating. So it's okay, right? And he has no provider potential. Obviously, she likes having a boyfriend or husband, but dating but not yet serious, which is kind of MLTR, very difficult for these women. So if you have an MLTR over 33, she is going to be constantly on your fucking ass to upgrade her to OLTR. And if you don't, she'll leave. Now, if you do this all correctly, she might come back. I have a 94% return rate, including with the one over 33. So just be aware of this. OLTRs are perfectly okay. Matter of fact, I think they're good. I purposely settled down with a woman over 33 because a woman who is over 33 is not going to go through any more radical changes. I know what I'm dealing with. I was talking to someone, one of you, doing some one-on-one coaching. If you marry or settle down with a 22-year-old girl, she'll change 14 different ways, and you'll just end up getting divorced. Stupid. Whereas if she's 33, 34, 35, is she going to radically change? No, that's how she is now. So that's one of the reasons I married Pink Firefly when she was 33. Not 33. She was late 30s when we got real serious, but she started seeing her when she was 33. So. Again, have any age OLTR you want as long as she's at least 25. All right, now we're getting into 40s, which gets really interesting. I'm going to repeat again. I'm not talking about physical appearance. There are lots of women these days who are in their 40s who are smoking fucking hot. I've had sex with many women in their 40s who were really good looking. Fine. And we're not talking about physical appearance here. And yet, statistically, most women in the Western world over 40 are going to be unattractive. That's they start getting fat and all that stuff. ASD peaks in a woman's 40s. This is where it gets the highest in her entire life. It even rises even beyond her 30s, and eventually it peaks somewhere in her 40s, depending on the woman, especially if she is still thin or attractive, as I mentioned earlier. Women in their 40s, I mentioned this earlier, I'm going to say it again. Women in their 40s, okay, who are still hot, have the highest ASD of women in the entire world, of all ages, of all types. And I mentioned Pink Firefly is hot, and she's 44. Highest ASD woman you will find. Now, she's in a relationship, so that's not relevant to her. But, so be aware, if you're going to go try to bang new women who don't already know you in their 40s who are hot, good fucking luck. You're going to have to be very, very, very patient. I mean really patient, like beta male, pussy patient. Otherwise, sorry. And again, this applies to women men she doesn't know yet. Social circle game can work with women in their 40s. I've done it. Okay. So just be aware. More demanding of money spent on her and fancy dates and events, both during relationships and even before sex. This is the woman who she's blonde and reasonably fit and trim, and she's 43, and she's the kind of girl who says, oh, you should take me out to this steak restaurant, and then you should buy me flowers, and you should do this, and you should do that, and then next week we should do this, and you haven't had sex yet, and then you should do this, then you should do that. I'm worth the wait. I'm worth the wait. I realize you're horny, little boy. You're just going to have to wait because I'm worth the wait. And I'm a lady. And then you're going to get a lot of that in her 40s. Okay? This is the good thing about women in the 40s. This is one of my favorite aspects of women in their 40s, probably my most favorite. Sex drive is at her highest. The highest sex drive women on the earth are women in their 40s. They are horny. They're like men who are in their early 20s. Women in their 40s. They are horny, 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 horny sons of bitches in a good way. They're fantastic. So once you're seeing a woman in her 40s, a lot of you can attest to this, she'll be texting you every day for cock. Not like, oh, let's talk. No, like, get over here and fuck me. The only texts I've gotten from women, it's like, get the fuck over here and fuck me right now, I can't stand it, are women in their 40s. And hilariously, did I say this in the slide? No. I mentioned this earlier. Women will get mad at you. Women in their 40s, if you can't fuck them, if you're busy that night or you work, they get mad at you. They get upset. I don't mean like, oh, come on. They get mad. Like, excuse me? What the fuck? Get over here and fuck me. They get mad. I've had this experience. Some of you have. Where a woman in her 40s you're seeing, FB, MLTR, whatever, doesn't matter. And she's horny, because she's always horny, and you're busy, and she's like, come over here and give me your cock. You're like, I can't. I'll see you tomorrow, or I'll see you Friday. They get mad. They give you drama over texts. Does that happen to 22-year-olds? Do 22-year-olds get mad if you can't? No, they don't care. So it's great. But it's something you have to manage. Especially with these women in their 40s, late 30s, who are like, they're super high ST, so they haven't fucked a guy in 2 years. Or they're really Christian, so they haven't fucked a guy, and they start fucking you, and they turn into sex monsters. I've had that experience more than once. It's wonderful. It's so great. I remember a woman who was 41 years ago. Super Christian, right-wing, appropriate. We were on the third date or the fourth date. Super high ASD, very pretty. She looked like a young Susan Sarandon. Really cute. Really cute. Oh, she was fun. Fourth date, she was at this is back when I had an apartment, when I was going through my divorce. This was a long time ago. Finally, we get to the point where we're going to have sex. And she literally, without me doing anything, with one movement, she's wearing a nice little, cute little sundress. She just whips off her own dress and she's naked. She just stands there in front of me like, please fuck me. It's been 3 years. Great. And she was like, once we started having sex, it was 3-4 times a week. She needed my cock constantly because she was in her 40s. Wonderful. All right. So again, I want you to understand ASD and sex drive for women spike at the same time. Because back in the pickup artist days, and even to this day, I'll say like women who are in the 30s and 40s won't fuck you on the second date because and some guys don't understand this model or don't understand these concepts. Say, wait a minute, that's not true. Women in their 30s and 40s are super horny. They have the highest sex drive. Of course they'll fuck you. No, they won't. They'll fuck you once they're fucking you. Once they're fucking you, they'll want to fuck you every day. Not in the first, second, third, fourth date. That's not appropriate. She doesn't do that anymore. She's a lady. All right? Again, some of the uglier, fatter women in their 40s just stop dating altogether and bail out of the sexual marketplace and buy a good dildo or a good vibrator, and that's it. So just be aware that happens too. Now, some of the uglier, fatter women, but some of the cute ones do too. I've seen some cute women in their 40s just say, oh, fuck it, I'm done. Fuck men, fuck dating. I hate it. Ah! And they leave. They do the female version of an incel. All right, FBs, MLTRs, OLTRs, women in their 40s. Same thing with FB, same deal 30s. If she has another guy who's kissing her ass, they make fantastic FBs because they're horny all the time. The sex is great. I have so many fun. There's no women in my life right now who are in their 40s except for Pink Firefly, but I have many fond memories of other women. But they all had another guy who was kissing their ass. Same MLTR, same deal. Possible, but very difficult. The only reason she's tolerating your fucking MLTR for maybe a few weeks is that she's planning on you being Mr. Boyfriend in next month. And if you're not, she's going to get fucking furious and punch you in the head. I don't mean literally. And she's out of there. So very difficult. Possible. It can be done. There are some women who are a little more relaxed, a little lower SD, not as extreme provider hunt. There's a few exceptions. You can find women in 30s, 40s who are, they're rare, and maybe they're not hot. OLTR is perfectly great, perfectly fine. My OLTR is 44. She's wonderful. All right, now we're getting into age 50 to age 65. This is really interesting. ASD finally, after 50 years, finally starts to drop a little in her 50s. Finally. So it's actually, you'll be able to fuck a woman on a first, second, third date model faster in her 50s than in her 30s or 40s. Kind of funny. Now, again, you might say, well, why would I fuck a woman in her 50s? Gross. There are lots of women in their 50s who are fucking hot. I've met many of them. And I'm not talking about famous billionaire actresses. I mean normal women in normal life who are physically fit and or often have really good genetics, take care of themselves, take care of their skin. Yes, they might have a wrinkle or two on their neck or something. Fine. They've got nice, perky, fake boobies. There are lots of women out there in their 50s, certainly early 50s, who look goddamn good. I said the oldest woman I've ever been with was 55. Here's the story. I told this story about her. I was a long time. I was 39, 38. She was 55. And we had sex 2-3 times. I forget how many times until we had sex when this happened. Once, twice, 3 times. I don't remember. She left her bra on left her shirt on or bra during sex. Okay. She was fantastic. And she was in her 50s, so she couldn't get pregnant. Woo! So anyway, I had a great time with her. And then one day I said, I was sitting on the couch in my house. And I said, you're wearing your shirt, your bra. No, I need to see what you got. And she covers her boobie. She's like, well, you have sex with all these like 18-year-old girls and 19-year-old girls, nice hot, because she had seen pictures of my other girl. You have sex with these pretty young girls and these perfect hard bodies, and you'll judge me and compare me to the girls, and I don't feel comfortable showing. I mean, my ass is fine because her ass was amazing. The rest were like, but my boobs. Some girls are self-conscious about their titties, and she had a kid, but it was like 20 years ago or something. So I had to convince her. I said, here's what I told her. I said, look, sweetheart, look. I'm going to pick up your shirt and your bra right now. I'm going to take a look. Okay. If I don't like what I see, I'm not going to say anything. And I was honest. I meant it. And I looked at her eyes. I meant this stuff. I'm not going to say anything. I'm just going to put it right back down and we're going to get on the floor and we're going to have sex and it'll be great. Okay. Deal? And she's like, okay. So I did it. So I lifted it all up and now I'm scared. I'm like, oh my God, am I going to see something disgusting here? Am I going to see golf ball and a sock boobs? I'm getting all nervous. I'm getting concerned. So I'm like, mentally, I didn't do this with my face, but I'm mentally bracing myself for something disgusting because I've had sex with lots of women. Occasionally you have women, even younger girls who have kids and the boobs deflate and okay, or one boob's bigger than the other. That's fine. Okay, great. So I braced myself. I grabbed the bottom of her shirt, grabbed her bra, and I lift it up and I look at her tits and they're great. They're great. They're not perfect. They're great. They're nice and perky. I'm like, these are great. What the fuck are you? She's like, really? It's like, sweetheart, they're beautiful. And I'm on them and we had sex. It was great. So that's my story. So women in their 50s, when they got good genetics and or they take care of themselves, take care of their physical fitness, take care of their skin, hot, 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 hot. Here's my ultimate celebrity example. This is a celebrity though. If you go on YouTube and you find Raquel Welch interviewed by Piers Morgan, it's in a dark room with a big audience. She was in her 70s during this interview. She's smoking gorgeous. I would have hit it. She's dead now. And this was many years ago. She died when she was 80 or something. She was like 72. And I'm like, she's 72. I would hit that so hard. And this was many years ago when I was much younger. This is probably when I was in my early 40s. Oh, So there are older women out there who are exceptions who are hot. All right, moving on. If she is still thin, fit, attractive, her ASD will continue into her late 50s instead of her early to mid 50s. So again, the hotter a woman is, the more she can maintain that attractiveness into her old age, the longer it takes for her ASD to relax a little bit, because she can still kind of compete. Kind of, sort of, okay? But it will still drop. All right. Her ASD and standards finally start to drop once she realizes she's too old to compete with younger women. And this would be the Cheryl Tiegs example I gave before, where the supermodel, or the ex-supermodel, or the ex-famous actress, or the ex-smoking hot 10 gets into her 40s, 50s, and she walks in a room full of men in a party, and she realizes no one's looking at her for the first time in her life. She's like, what the fuck? That's when her ASD and her demands, and you need to buy me dinner, this stuff starts to drop off now, because she realized she doesn't have the currency, the SMV, to compete in that kind of marketplace, which kind of makes sense if you think about it. So that's when this happens, 50s. All right. Women this age, this is very true. If they're still single, women this age often just settle down for whatever beta male will take them, and they just settle down. They just settle. This is when women settle. They take the chubby guy who works for Intel, and oh, he'll do. I'll marry him. Better being single in my 50s, and they'll just fucking settle. A lot of women will do that. Instead of bailing out of the marketplace, which they do in the 40s and 30s, when they get frustrated, women in their 50s tend to just grab whoever they can grab. I've seen it happen many times. They grab some dumbass, dorky beta male. All right, I'll marry him. And he's some nerdy, fat, dumbass beta male. He's excited. Oh my God, she's so hot. Fine. We'll still have frequent sex as long as she feels attractive. And I'll cover that more in a minute, in the next slide. So she will still have, in their 50s, women still have sex. Absolutely. 60s, that changes. Okay. All right, now we get to the next transition, big transition, mid to late 60s. I actually showed this on the slide. I didn't just explain it, so I'll explain it now. Around age 65, and this varies per woman depending on how pretty she is, okay? So sometimes this could be 69, sometimes it could be 62. Let's say a rough average is 65. And men who date women this age will all tell you this. A lot of you have reported this to me. I've never had sex with women in their 60s, but a lot of you have, you older guys, and you all 100% reported this to me. I've seen this anecdotally in my life. I have talked to many women this age. This is overwhelming. At around age 65-ish, a woman stops having sex. And a lot of men don't understand this. What? Yes, they stop. They just stop. Doesn't matter if they're married or not, dating or not, they just stop. Why are they stopped? Well, here's why. Unlike men, very unlike men, women need to feel sexy in order to have sex. Women need to feel attractive and desired in order to have sex. Do you? No. Do we men give a shit? No. You can be a fat, ugly pile of shit and have sex with a hot girl and enjoy it, right? Because we're guys. Women are like this. Women have to feel attractive, even if they're fat, okay? They have to feel attractive to the man they're with in order to have sex. They have to feel sexy. Ultimate example of this is really fat black women. These fat black women, like, I don't mean chubby, I mean fat, and they think they're like sexy as fuck. And all these black guys going, yeah, you're sexy as fuck. Yeah, but those fat black women have a lot of sex. Okay? They get laid a lot because they feel attractive. Doesn't matter how they look, they feel attractive. So when she gets to the point where she literally feels like an old lady, like a wrinkly old lady, if you are a wrinkly old lady and you feel like a wrinkly old lady, do you feel sexually attractive? Do you feel sexually? No. So then you just stop having sex. Women are just done. Okay. Even if she's with somebody. Okay. So just be aware of this. This dynamic increases in age as women in general start looking younger. So right now it's around age 65. Maybe you could argue it's probably 67. Soon that'll be 70 because, again, women are looking younger because of lifestyle factors and medical technology and cosmetic technology. Women are looking hotter into older ages, just like men are. I'm 52 years old. In the 1980s, did 52-year-old men look like me? No, not even close. So it applies to men as well. So as this changes, these ages all start pushing upwards. So this age at which she stops having sex will probably move to 70 soon, and then 75 as women become more attractive into their older years. Pink Firefly's mom. Pink Firefly has really good genetics for attractiveness and aging. Pink Firefly's mom, not today, but back in the day when I first met her, when Pink Firefly were getting serious, Pink Firefly's mom looked like she could have been my older sister. She was well into her 60s. Very good looking for an older woman. She looked great. Still looks great. She's in her 70s now, looks great. And she married a guy. And I'm quite certain that she's having sex way past age 65 because she still looks attractive, so she feels attractive. Does that make sense? So, yeah. That's it. All right. Let me go back to I'm going to go all the way back to the chart, and then I'll answer your questions. Jesus, I covered a lot of stuff, and I'll get to your question. You got a lot of questions. I'll cover them in a second. Let's go all the way back to the chart so we can refer to that because I have a feeling some of your questions will. There it is. So late 60s, sex termination. That's why I say in the chart. That's where she just stops having sex. Mid to late 60s. Right. Okay. So that's it. That's the model. That's this works. So you understand this when you go out in the world and start dating women of various ages. The pros and the cons. Last thing before I start answering questions. You will understand by now if you went through all that, and if you didn't, watch the replay. It's not like one age is the best. That's not correct. There are pros and cons to every age range. You date a 19-year-old, there are some pros and there are some big cons, big disadvantages. You date a woman who's 39, there are some big disadvantages, aren't there? But there are some big advantages too. Depends on what you want and depends on where you are in life, your age, what kind of relationships you want. I'll say this again one more time. When I made the decision to settle down and get a OLTR wife, I made the conscious decision to go after a woman who was in her mid to early 30s. I could have married an 18-year-old many times over. I had many 18, 19, 20-year-olds for a decade prior to that asking to marry me, and I could have said yes. I could have been one of these dumbasses and married a 19-year-old. Why didn't I do that? You want to marry a 19-year-old? You will be divorced within 4 years. Guaranteed. I bet $50,000 on it. I didn't want to go through that, so I wanted to wait till she was older and gone through all the bullshit and went through these spike ASD experiences. So now I knew what I was dealing with long term. And so far it's worked. Pink Firefly is still together. We've been together over a decade. Okay. Hang on. All right. Let's go answer your questions. You've got a lot of questions here. Oh my goodness. All right, here we go. Hang on. How to handle jealousy. Very big topic. You need to buy my book, The Unchained Man. And if you're hardcore about this, the other book, The Ultimate Open Relationships Manual, I have entire chapters on techniques. See here. You recommend a setup of one MLTR and one FB as being easiest for beginners, correct? How does that connect to avoiding de facto non-monogamy? Seems close to de facto for a beginner. Would 2 FB or 1 MLTR be better? 2 FBs and 1 MLTR is better. We're talking about for pure beginners. So you start with 1 FB, 1 MLTR, handle that for a few months, and then go get your second FB. Correct. Favorite metal band? Of all time, it ties Ozzy Osbourne, the original Ozzy Osbourne, 80s, 90s Ozzy Osbourne, and Judas Priest. Do you like Slipknot? I do not. I like old school 80s metal, 70s, 80s, early 90s, before grunge came on. My high-end MLTR is dealing with big health problems in her life and is stressed about it. She hasn't seen me for 2 months. Why not? And is getting slower to respond to text. We have no plans to see each other. Should I treat this as a listen pity? Yes. If you haven't seen her in 2 months, you're done seeing her. Downgrade her? No. Just move on. Are online dating like Tinder still the best to find very young girls? Not if you're an older man. Older men don't do well on Tinder at all. But yes, speaking generally, the answer is yes. Bumble still works very well on younger women. Would a 10 to 20 year age gap? You misspelled it. Age gap, especially in South America, be okay? I was just with a woman yesterday who was 23. I'm 52. What's that age gap? It's perfectly fine. A lot of Western propaganda shames men for this. Well, let's do the math really quick. I don't usually go as low as 23, but I did just yesterday. 52 minus 23 is, She's 29 years younger than me. You think I give a rat fuck? Do you think I care about society? Societal programming is bullshit. Wash it out of your mind. Live your life, not living the life of society. Society can go fuck itself. Do not care. Again, to repeat, I don't normally date women that young, but she is someone who I've known for a long time. Did the 50-year-old become a regular FB for a while? Absolutely. She was 55. Absolutely she was. Yes, she was great. She couldn't come back, though. Speaking of health problems, so she never returned because she had major health problems. She started walking with a cane. She couldn't walk up. Today, she's an old lady. She's still alive. We're still friends on Facebook. She's an old lady now. Same thing with the woman who I lost my virginity with. We're still friends. And I was in my early 20s, and she was 41. She's an old lady now. She's great. This may sound childish, but do you have a happy place you go to in your head and mind when you feel stressed or overwhelmed about something or anything? I do have that place I go to when I visualize and when I meditate. Yes, I have a happy place. You should all have a happy place. Yes, that's helpful. Yeah. And if you get overwhelmed, yeah, it's a very good place. Yes. One of these days, I'll describe my happy place. That's very detailed. But it's not a happy place. It's a meditative place. A place I go when I meditate or visualize. I have a very specific place. It's very detailed. It's perfect for me. One of these days, I'll describe it. I describe it in SMIC Vault. Go get it. My goal to only date women between 17 and 23 for a 28-year-old man. Which part of the world are large age gaps normal and appreciated? They're not appreciated anywhere. They're normal everywhere now. They're normal everywhere, including the Western world. Younger women are now going after older men in ways that weren't the case way back when I was doing this. Just the worst place for large age gaps if you're an older man. If you're 28, you are not an older man. You can do whatever you want. You don't need to worry about a thing. You can go anywhere in the world. But if you're in your 40s, 50s, you want to date like 19-year-olds, the two worst countries in the world are United States and Canada. Those are the two places that are going to lose their shit and call you a pedophile. All other countries do not give a fuck. They do not care. Some countries prefer much older women. When I was dating HBM, who was the Filipina girlfriend I had before Pink Firefly, okay? She was in her early 20s, and I was in my early 40s, so 20-year age difference. Filipina girl, like fresh off the boat, like with a thick Filipino accent, okay? She told her dad, we met when she was 19, started seeing her when she was 19. She was like 21. She told her dad about me. And she goes, Dad, I have a new boyfriend. He goes, how old is he? He's like, is he white? She's like, yeah. He's like, all right. He goes, how old is he? And she said 41 or how old, 42, however old I was, early 40s. He goes, he's only 41? No. He needs to be at least 50. A 41-year-old man doesn't make enough money to take care of you. That's bullshit. He needs to be at least 50. I'm going to set you up with two guys I know who are in their 50s. A little different than America and Canada, huh? You're the man. Thank you. A post went viral recently of a woman saying to her partner, I wouldn't want to be your friend with benefits, but I'll marry you. That's a beta male. You are an unattractive beta male, but you're a good provider. Correct. How can you show a woman that you are good for both option for an FB and LTR? LTRs are monogamous. You should not do LTRs. You should never do an LTR. They're monogamous. You follow my models. You follow the cardinal rules. Alpha male 2.0. If you do everything I talk about, you will never have that problem. Literally never. Do you think a lot of Latinas wouldn't qualify for MLTR status because of the constant family drama? I don't know about a lot. A percentage, correct, do not apply for MLTR because of the family drama. Yes. Yeah, that is true. And different cultures and Latin cultures are, so you're going to have much more family drama with a Mexican woman than you are with a Paraguayan woman here in Paraguay. Although you might have that too. But the answer is, yeah, there's some. Yeah, unfortunately. Yeah. Are there some women who are out there who just find it too difficult for them to see both of those qualities, FB and LTR, in one man? Can you ask the same question? I mostly 80% of the time sleep with women on a first date at home. I don't follow that model. That's too much work. Even if I can convert to even if I still can convert to non-monogamous relationships, should I still do your 2-date model? The problem with your model is A, it takes a lot of time and a lot of work and a lot of effort and a lot of numbers, and B, it is not conducive to a long-term relationship because she will likely ghost you the next day. I imagine a very high percentage of the women you're fucking, you never see again. I don't have that problem. Now, if you just want a bunch of one-night stands, great. Fuck them on the first date. If you want long-term non-monogamous relationships, you don't want to do that. You're setting the wrong frame. You're setting a player frame instead of an alpha 2.0 frame. Alpha 2.0 is not a player per se. Player is, I'm going to fuck 100 girls, one-night stands. I don't care if they last. Am I obligated to tell the person I'm on a first date that I'm non-monogamous? No, you do not talk about any of that on the first date. You let her do 80% of the talking. No. Is that why monogamous people don't have that? Why is it that monogamous people don't have that same obligation? You do not have that obligation. No, don't talk about your relationship models at all on a first date. No. Shut your fucking mouth on a first date and ask questions. Let her talk. I got the SMIC vault and saw your video on referral game. Cool. I have an MLTR who is opposed to woman threesome, so is it still possible to referral game? Yes. I've had much referral game. The vast majority of my referral game does not involve any threesomes. The answer is yes. If she's under the age of 24. Remember what I said? Or it's sugar daddy. I don't think it's sugar daddy if it's MLTR. Do you have other guys beta testing your new relationship thing you're doing? I have not talked about what I'm doing, so no one is beta testing it. Only I am doing it. I'm the only one. I'm very excited about it. Can't talk about it. Sorry. Until at least October. No. I am not going to, what I am now doing, I'm not going to teach. It's for advanced level dudes only. It's for high income alpha 2.0s who have 10 years plus experience in non-monogamous relationship management. Is that you? Probably not. So I'm not going to teach what I'm doing. That's why I don't even want to talk about it. I'm not going to teach what I'm doing. Maybe I'll do an advanced, expensive course for older alpha 2.0s who make a lot of money and are location dependent and have a lot of experience. And if they really want to do it, maybe I'll do that. Outside that, I'm not going to teach. Excuse me. What's with the woman bathroom ritual pre-sex? What do they do in there and why? Most women I fuck don't have that problem. So you're dealing with one or two weird women. I heard there's a huge rise of Tinder date rape cases in Mexico, Colombia. Stop watching the news. Stop watching the news. You are a candidate. Please stop watching the news for 30 days. This is stupid. Guys are waking up with everything stolen. Is it even worth the risk? Think of traveling down. You are being stupid. The news is melting your brain. I've addressed this multiple times in multiple blog articles and videos. If you don't do anything stupid, you'll never have a problem. You don't spend the night with a brand new woman you just met at a bar in Colombia. That's stupid. Of course you're going to have a problem. 100% of guys who have those problems do something stupid when they travel. I have traveled all over the world. I have had sex with women all over the world. I've never had a single problem. Why? Because I'm not stupid. Do you enjoy being on your own for such an extended period of time, much less drama? I'm sure. I don't have drama in my relationships, but I do enjoy being alone. I don't have drama in my relationships. I'm an alpha 2.0. My OLTR woman in her 30s is stressed around kids, but has started saying she wants kids with me. That's right. Shouldn't she not have kids since she gets stressed around them? And is it ethical to explain that to her? You are using guy logic. Guy logic doesn't work with females. Listen, woman, you should not have any kids because you are stressed around children. Therefore, you should never have kids. She'll say, fuck you. Guy logic does not work on women. Women don't make logical decisions. I don't know if you noticed. In their personal lives. Women can make logical decisions in their business lives, in their work, sure. In their relationship lives, women don't make logical choices. It's not how women work. So you can't explain that to her. No. By the way, and I explained this last time, I should have addressed this in the slides. When a woman under 30 says, I don't want any kids, she's lying or she will change her mind. Just be aware of this. So if you're looking for a woman who doesn't want any kids and she's 26 and she says, I don't want kids, she's lying or she'll change her mind in the next 4 years. Okay, be aware of this. Because we're dealing with left-wing generations, Gen Z, Gen Alpha, even with the millennials when they were young girls, 18, 19, 20, it's a cool thing now for young girls to say, I don't want any kids, I want to live my life. It's a cool thing to say. It's the left-wing thing to say. But then when they hit 30, suddenly they have kids. Or suddenly they don't want kids. Or you meet up with them and suddenly they got a kid, even if it's by accident. If a woman 30 or over says she doesn't want kids, that's the truth. Because she's past age 28, biological clock, and she still knows she doesn't want kids. This is relevant to something I'm doing in my life right now. So if she's 30, 31, 32, and you would say, do you want kids? She goes, no, I don't want any kids. You can take that to the bank. That's what Pink Firefly said when she was 33, and I asked her. And someone else recently. Okay. But if she's 19, 23, 26, she goes, I don't want any kids. I want to live my life. She's full of shit. You need to wait till she's 30 and then ask the question. Yet another reason why it's dangerous to get OLTRs who are super young. MLTR's fine. This is for age ranges, but it would be priceless, similar content. But for gaming girls, according to their hotness, 7, 8s, 9s, and 10s, there is no difference. There's no difference between how you date a 7, 8, or a 9. 10, there is a difference. There's no difference. None. A lot of guys think that. Incorrect. 7s, 8s, 9s. 6s, 7s, 8s, and 9s, no difference in how you date them. 10, yeah. 10s are different. Crazy consistent, Caleb. You're barely 1 week off for sickness and immediately back to posting content nonstop again. That's how I roll, baby. I need help. I was once visiting someone and heard the neighbor having loud sex. Got extremely aroused. Why is that a problem? Come to find out, the chick is hot. I saw her on Instagram. Now I have one-itis for her. I feel like a beta loser. You are being a beta loser. You have one-itis for a woman you never met? You are being a beta loser. Because I'm attracted to someone else sloppy seconds. That's okay. Most women you're attracted to, dude, the women you're attracted to on Instagram, they're all getting fucked by men like me. So they're all sloppy seconds. That's fine. And got with stream one-itis for her. She is hot. She is 28. Is it normal to be aroused by hearing? Is it normal to be aroused by hearing someone having loud sex? A lot of people are. That's perfectly fine. What is not normal is getting one-itis for a girl you've never met. That's insane. You're a beta male loser. Snap the fuck up. Go get laid with someone who is hot, and then you'll be okay. The problem is not that you have one-itis. The problem is you're not getting laid. Are you, Mason? You're not getting laid. That's your problem. A lot of guys think their problem is one-itis. The problem is they're not getting laid, or they're not getting laid with hot girls. Go have sex with a hot chick, 1 or 2, and then suddenly one-itis won't be a problem in most cases. What is the primary reason in your view why these gens don't fuck? The internet, social media, insult, all those things. Cell phones. Cell phones. Social media, cell phones, all that stuff. OnlyFans, porn. There's so many reasons. I've had more luck banging older women 33 plus than younger women because they're a lot flakier and seem to have more options and live busier lives. Younger women do not have busier lives. That is incorrect. But yes, they're flakier. I mentioned that in the slides. You're right. Young girls are flaky as fuck. And it gets really irritating. Yes. Especially when you're a time management nerd like myself. You're right. How do I get over my ex who is a 10, perfect face, perfect body, everything? Hardly do I see as girls as pretty on apps. If I do, they have hundreds of other men trying to talk to them. Solution. It's the same solution. Go on all the apps and do some day game and start putting in the numbers. And you'll fuck someone new who is just as hot or hotter than her. I promise. Your perception is skewed. She's not perfect face, body, everything. She's not. You think that because she's your ex and you have one-itis still. If you put a picture of her up on this live stream and I ask the audience, is she perfect? The vast majority of them go, no, what the fuck? You think that. Your perception is skewed. Get out there, put in the numbers, start fucking new girls who are hot. And you'll get one-itis for the next girl. You shouldn't, but how to get Instagram models. I have an entire mini course on how to do that. Go to store.calebjones.com. Can you date a 21-year-old but OLTR when she's 24, 25? Not 24. Yes, I've had men ask this. If she's still around, she's 21, you cannot OLTR until she's at least 25. 27 is better. 25 is risky. I wouldn't OLTR a 25-year-old. But technically, yes, you could date her as an MLTR for 21. If she lasts 4 years with you, which is not likely, and she's still around and qualifies for all the requirements of OLTR, which there are many, then sure, fine. A lot of ifs in there, isn't there? Does having a common white guy name like Caleb Jones more of a blessing, curse, or neutral? You think the name Caleb is common? You're smoking crack. Do women in Paraguay say si, or que rico during sex? Paraguayan women, no. Other Latina women, yes. Go fuck some Brazilian girls. They won't shut up. Paraguayan girls are pretty quiet. They're the more chill Latinas. Although I think I've had one. I wanted one that said CCC, but it was one out of many. So, Will ASD always exist in one way or another, no matter how progressive a society gets? There's no way to answer that question because we don't know how AI and social norms will change. We may enter into a world where there's zero ASD for everybody because there's no STDs or pregnancy. So the technology will advance the point soon. Soon, I don't know, soon. At some point, we will advance the point where anyone can have sex with anybody and there will be no STDs and no one will ever get pregnant. And if it gets really left wing plus that, you might get, I mean, good left wing, not bad left wing, then you might get to the point where we have no ASD. Or it could go the other way and sex could be this big thing that very few people do because everyone's home fucking their robots or having sex on the phone or jerking off the porn. And so then ASD is extreme. So there's no way to know this, no way to predict that. Do low sex drive, very young women only apply to women in the West? I didn't say they have low sex drives. I said they don't have high sex drives. I did not say younger women have low sex drives. Younger women have perfectly healthy sex drives. I didn't say they have high sex drives. No, that doesn't apply only to women West. Incorrect. Common phrases women say during sex, fuck me harder. Okay, blah, blah, blah. Also phrases come in silent. Thoughts. I like some of those. My personal, every guy has their own opinion on that stuff. It's up to you. Do you like that? Then great. I like some of that. If a woman says come inside me, I like that a lot. But I have high testosterone, so I have impregnation fantasies. That's a testosterone thing. So some things I like, yeah. Now, some things I don't like. When a girl calls me daddy, not into that. Why? Probably because I have a daughter. But if you don't have a daughter, you probably love that shit, right? So it depends on the guy. Are women crazy? Yes. Women are insane. What is my standard? What are my standard phrases? Men are dumb. Women are insane. Men are stupid. Women are crazy. Yes. And if you just plan in advance, whenever you're dealing with a man, he's going to do some stupid shit because he's dumb. And you plan in advance when you deal with women, they're going to do crazy shit that makes no sense. You'll never be surprised. I am never surprised in life when I deal with humans, personally or professionally. If I'm dealing with a man, I assume he's a retard. He's going to do some dumb shit. I don't have to correct his dumb ass. If she's a woman, I assume in advance she's going to do some crazy, insane shit that even she can't explain. And if they don't, I'm surprised. If they do, I go, yep, I was right. I notice the battle is against time when it comes to women because when hesitate or not attempt to make the move and delay it, she moves on, and the next thing you know, she's getting fucked by another man. Huh? I don't understand. Had these experiences had to deal with regret and jealousy. You shouldn't deal with regret or jealousy for any one individual woman. You need to work on your outcome independence. There is a PUA saying, he who's hesitate, masturbate. How to deal with regret and jealousy thoughts. You need to read my chapters in my books on how to manage both jealousy and outcome independence. You are very outcome dependent. If a woman doesn't fuck me, do you think I care at all? I'm asking this question honestly. And I'm being 100% honest and transparent with you. If I go after a particular woman and she doesn't fuck me, and she goes and fucks another guy, do you think I care at all? What do you think? I don't. It doesn't even register with me. I'm not jealous. I don't even care. I don't regret it. I don't have jealousy. Why? Well, a number of reasons. I'm already fucking an entire harem of hot girls. A. B. I get new girls literally whenever I want, literally. So why would I care about that one? Goes back to one-itis and outcome independence. You have more to work on. Any tips to stop hesitation and taking action? Follow my model. Don't fuck her on the first date, but do try to fuck her on the second date at your place. Follow my very specific first date model, second date model, and you'll be fine in the vast majority of cases. Sometimes you will end up fucking women on the first date of my model. I've done it, but that's an exception. But the second date, yeah. What you don't want to do is have first date, second date, third date, you never make a move. That's beta shit. Don't fucking do that. And even on the first date, when you're trying not to fuck her, you have an extreme sexual frame, sex talk, all this sexual stuff is going on. You don't just sit there like a beta with your arms folded going on the first date and then not try to fuck. That's not going to work either. Dating a girl I like, she said her last guy strung her along 6 months and said she wasn't ready for a relationship. Is she over 33? I feel like the same, but I don't want to lose her. You have one-itis? As soon as you say I don't want to lose her, you got a problem. So problem number one is you. You're too needy. Are you only dating one girl, Ben Aiken? Or are you dating several? If you're only dating one, that's your problem. Date other girls. How do I keep her and my lifestyle? Follow the cardinal rules. That's the answer to most of these questions, guys. Follow the models. Follow the 4 phases. Follow the cardinal rules to the letter, and you'll do well. Will you do well with 100% of all women? No, that's fantasy Disney shit. Sorry. But the vast majority, yes. Yes, you'll do just fine. How do I get a girl to like me? And how do I make sure she stays? Follow the cardinal rules. And don't get one-itis. Is the information okay? You answer the question. Okay. Have a 17 hot girl in rotation that would remove one-itis. Oh, have a 17-year-old hot girl in rotation that would remove one-itis. If 17-year-old girls are legal where you live, yes. If they're not, please follow the law wherever you are. I have to repeat that legally and just, for my own sanity. Wherever you are, whatever country or region you're in, please follow the law regarding age of consent. Please, please, please. Especially if you are anywhere in America or Canada. Now you're playing with fire. Other countries don't give a shit, but still follow them all. Been in the SMIC for years. This man changed my life with money and women. Always be grateful for the quality of the work. Cool. Thank you, Jan. As I'm getting much better sarging, I'm considering a new way of game. Open a 2-set and simultaneously seduce them, date them, having sex. Any thoughts or advice? That's advanced level game shit. If you're an advanced level guy, you can try whatever you want. I'm an advanced level relationship guy, so I can do whatever the fuck I want. Now, I still follow my own rules, but the thing I'm doing now is outside all my rules. But I know what I'm doing. I'm doing it for 17 years. So once you're at an advanced level, you can start bending the rules a little bit, sure. If you're a beginner, intermediate, no, stick with the models. For an Alpha 2.0 doctor in his early 30s for whom dating is a priority and has clients in the U.S., would you recommend moving to Paraguay, Brazil, or Dubai? Those are radically different countries. I can't answer that question. You need to go visit those 3 countries and see which one you like the best. You can't compare Paraguay or Brazil with Dubai. Completely opposite worlds. So I don't know what you'll like. You may love Paraguay. You may hate Paraguay. You may love Dubai. You might hate Dubai. I don't know. You need to go there for a week. Go to Paraguay for a week. Check it out. Go to Dubai for a week. Check it out. You want to do Paraguay, go Paraguay for a week. You can go right over Brazil, which is 2 hours away. Go there for a week. And then later in the year, go to Dubai for a week. And then pick. Where can we buy the Fashion Bible by Brad P? Good question. I did a JV with that, didn't I? Long. You got a good memory. I don't know. Is Brad P still active? I don't think he's active anymore, is he? The only 2 pickup artists who are still active from my day in 2008 is me and Chase with Girls Chase. All the other pickup artists got monogamous and got divorced. I'm 25. I don't seem to have that issue with over 33 women because women over 33 know that I'm not marriage material and does not count thoughts. Correct. A loophole in the over 33 ASD model is if you're a young guy and you clearly have no money. Then she'll put you in, well, he's casual, so it doesn't count, and she might fuck you. Yes, that is correct. I've talked about that many times. Agree or disagree? Outcome independence is useless advice. It is a symptom of one's deeply ingrained psychology, not a choice of the moment. I don't understand. Let me see if I can read this again. Outcome independence is useless advice. I don't agree with that at all. It's a symptom of one's deeply ingrained psychology, not a choice of the moment. I disagree because I used to be outcome dependent. Now I'm outcome independent. I changed. What you're implying is that you can't change. You can change. Now, if some personalities, I've said this before in my books, some personalities are just super outcome dependent. My wife is one of the most outcome dependent people I've ever met. So if you have a super outcome dependent personality, can you get to outcome independence on a scale of 1 to 10 and 11 like me? No. But you can go from 1 to 6 or 7. You probably won't ever get to 10. If you're born and your whole life you've been a 1 on outcome independence, but you can still get to a 6, 7, sure. So I disagree. You saying it's hard and possible in Dubai makes me want to take a challenge of gaming there. I didn't say it's impossible. Never said dating in Dubai is impossible. You can do it. I've done it. I'm saying it's difficult, more difficult than other countries. If you're an advanced level guy or a high SMB guy like me, great, go for it. There are a lot of hot girls in Dubai, man. Woo! What are the top 3 countries for sugar daddy game? Hottest girls, etc. No such thing. There's probably 40 countries that are great for sugar daddy game. And you can go, there's a video on my Alpha 2 on YouTube channel where I do the hottest women countries. Go watch that video. I do the top 10 or top 12 hottest country women. Family, I'm living testimony. Caleb's 1 hour date works like clockwork. I can't count the number of pretty girls I've had some fun with right after. Cool. What does it mean when women say that the man is boring? Literally that. He's boring and unattractive. Women can't be bored. Women's boredom tolerance is extremely low. Men's boredom tolerance is extremely high. So a man he shouldn't do this, but a beta male can get a boring bullshit 9-to-5 job, work all day at his boring job, go home, shove his hand down his pants and watch Netflix, then go to sleep, and do that for 25 years. And he can make that work. A woman can never do that. It's too boring. So if a man is boring, you're out. You cannot be boring, including in relationships. Are these guidelines mostly for women from the Western world? No. These guidelines are for all women, but it does vary slightly. How does it vary for Asia, Latin America? So, good question. It still applies to Asia, Latin America. Latin America has less ASD than Western world, right? Latinas have less ASD than Western girls. So you can take this chart and just redraw it. It's the same shape, but it's lower. So a 33-year-old Latina woman living in Brazil is still going to have that ASD spike, but it's going to be lower than an American woman or a Canadian woman or a UK woman at 33. Does that make sense? So the models apply. It's just less ASD for Latina and for Black girls, especially like Africa. I mean, like real Black girls, African girls, Caribbean girls, things like that. Asian girls are about the same in terms of ASD as white girls. Asia's about the same. In most cases, there are exceptions. Filipinas, no ASD. That's an exception. Filipino, go to Philippines. There's no ASD at all. I don't think they know what ASD means over there. That's one country. How does this apply to listen fitty? Depends what you're asking about. What is the biggest reason why married women cheat? Because long-term monogamy doesn't work. Human beings were never designed for long-term sexual monogamy. It doesn't matter if you're a man or a woman. That's the biggest reason. Why do you think women's sexual peak is in their 40s? Because they are comfortable with their own bodies and their own sexuality. It takes most women about 15, 20 years to get 100% comfortable with their bodies and their own internal psychosexuality and all the thoughts they have in their head. Women and men don't have this issue. Do you need to be comfortable with your body to have sex if you're a guy? No, you don't give a fuck, right? So that's why. 30s, 40s. If you had to date 5 women holding the cryptocurrency of your choice, besides Bitcoin, Ethereum, or Solana, what would these? I have no idea what your question. You're being too silly. So are there any specific strategies to cut down on flaking and getting young women on dates? Yes, a number of them. Number 1, you follow up all the fucking time. So you follow up the day before the date. Hey, talk to her. So are we still on for tomorrow at 6 p.m.? And she'll go, oh shit, I forgot. Or she'll say, yep. Then you follow up the morning of. The dumbest thing men do is they set an appointment, a date with a girl who's like under 25. And they set the appointment on Sunday for like Wednesday, and they don't text at all. And then they show up at 6 o'clock on Wednesday night, and she's like, what the fuck? You just keep following up a lot. Another thing too is if they're flaky, a voice, so either a voice or a video phone call before the date. So she's more comfortable with you and you feel more like a friend. That will reduce flaking, believe it or not. So that will help too. Really want to thank you, Caleb. I bought several of your products. Solid gold, best investments ever. Cool. You're very welcome. I just can't find errors in your logic. I'm glad you don't have a cult. I could start a cult. I've had guys ask, Caleb, you could totally like start a cult. I'm like, no, I'm good. I believe in freedom, so I can't do that. The last time I heard I'm a lady was on Little Britain. Okay, you're still being silly, Ralph Mack. I'm going to start ignoring your questions. Do you have any techniques to deal with age 33 plus women that you want to upgrade them to OLTR? Or do you let them listen to you and get back to them later? The model still applies regardless of the age. So you don't have an OLTR until she's an MLTR for at least 6 months. Now, what you can do, a woman of any age, doesn't matter her age is, if you really like her, when you give her the talk, You can say to her, look, I really like you, or I'm in love with you, I love you, and I see a long-term future with us. I see marriage, I see kids. You can say that to an MLTR. You can, if that's what you really believe. If you say, but not yet. I don't want to rush into this. I don't want to rush into a relationship and then have a divorce. You don't want that either, do you, Susie? You just position it like that, and that can work, maybe. It only works if you're doing the cardinal rules and she's really attracted to you. Otherwise, she'll say, well, you're just stringing me along and wasting my time. She won't say that if she's really attracted to you, which means you're following all the cardinal rules. There are about 9 of them. You're doing all of them, even the ones you don't want to do. Seeing her once a week, all that shit. Okay. If you have a wife, should you be careful about validation, like saying I love you or saying she's hot all the time? That is okay for an OLTR wife. I tell Pink Firefly I love her every day. OLTR wife you live with, she's your wife. She's gone through all the years of qualification. You didn't just marry her on the 3rd date or make her your girlfriend on the 3rd date like dumb shits do. You followed all my models. Yes, you can. You don't have to worry about validation with a wife. There are other things you have to worry about. What you have to worry about with wives is compromise. You need to buy my book, open-marriage.com. Go buy that book on how to manage a non-monogamous live-in wife. There's a lot of, but saying I love you and telling her she's hot is perfectly fine. That is not the issue when with a live-in wife. It's an issue with other girls. You have other issues. When she says, can you start doing this or stop doing that? You go, okay, that's the problem that husbands and live-in boyfriends run into. Rich Cooper calls this death by 1,000 cuts. Death by 1,000, okay, fine, I'll do that. No, you got to say, no, I'm not doing that. I love you, I'm not doing that. Nope. She'll say, but her attraction stays high. Why do you think dating apps men to women ratio is so skewed if there's just as many women as men in a given Western city? What do you think? If you're a cute girl, do you need to go on a dating app to get laid? No. If you're a boy, you probably need to go on a dating app to get laid. That's why. Do your Alpha 2.0 brand would be more profitable if you niched more? Yes, it would be, but I don't want to niche more. I'm pretty fucking niched. The vast majority of men won't resonate with any of this content. They'll say, I'm not going to let her fuck other guys. Well, I can't do monogamy. My mom won't like it. You know. Do you have to be rich to fuck 10s? No, I was fucking 10s when I was in that apartment with one. No. And there are plenty of guys I know who fuck 10s who aren't rich. No, it helps. It absolutely helps, yes. Or can you just live a cool Alpha 2? Yes, you can live an Alpha 2 cool lifestyle. You can fuck. There are plenty of guys who are not rich who fuck 10s. Plenty, including me back in the day. Today is a little different. Can you date younger women with no special techniques or money? You don't need money. I was banging 18-year-olds for years before I ever did sugar daddy game and gave them one dime. Yes. Techniques, you need special techniques if you're an older man. If you look really young, let's say 50 and look late 20s, does it all come down to perception? Younger woman is defined as 10 years younger. She is 10 years younger than how you look. Okay, now, you're not 50 and look like in your late 20s. I don't believe you. But you could very look like maybe late 30s or 35, sure. So if you look 35, any woman under 25 is considered a much younger woman to you, and that's where special techniques kick in. If she's within 10 years younger, nothing special. More than 10 years, yeah, you need special techniques to how you look, not your age. I don't look 52. However old you think I look. What, I look 42? I don't know what I look, 42? I don't know. How can you be a piece of shit and fuck hot women? Pieces of shit can fuck hot women, but they can't maintain women. They leave quickly. The women break up quickly and ghost them. There are assholes who get laid, but they can't carry on relationships. Now, if you don't care, be an asshole. Unless they're making a lot of money. That's what Andrew Tate does. Andrew Tate has his women make hundreds of thousands a year, and he's an asshole to them, but they stick around because they like money. So that's the one loophole. If you're rich, you can break all kinds of rules. That's how it works. How can you tell if a woman is submissive and will cook and clean for you? You'll know when you're dating her. When I was dating HBM, initially I said, what is your favorite thing to do? She was Filipino, right? She was like 19. She goes, oh, I like to go shopping. I said, okay, what's your second favorite thing to do? She goes, I like to clean. I said, what? She goes, yes, I like to clean. You like to clean? Oh, yes. And she would clean my house every week for free. It's great. Didn't take very long. You'll learn pretty quick. And she's probably not Western. If she likes to cook and clean for you, she's not Western. She's Asian, maybe Latina, maybe Eastern European. She's not Western. She's not Western European. She's not Australian. She's not American. She's not. So if you want to super cook and clean some, Pink Firefly is a submissive. There's 3 kinds of women in Alpha 2.0: dominance, independence, and submissives. She's a submissive, but she doesn't cook and clean for me because she's an American. Do you recommend Tinder for a 30-year-old man? Yes, but not just Tinder. You need to be on 4 or 5 dating apps and blow the shit out of all of them. These days, husband seems equal to boyfriend. Often, yes, correct. As the Western world continues to collapse, that is true. Yes. Women seem happy to cheat. Do married women lose ASD? No. Well, that's a good question. Do they lose ASD? No, they don't lose ASD. They lose provider hunter shit. So they're not going to fuck you on the first date if she's married, but because she still has the ASD if she's over 33. But she won't say you need to take me out to dinner and take me to a movie and take me, because her husband does that. The beta male boyfriend already does that for her. So she loses the provider hunter, which makes it a lot easier. For the record, I don't recommend fucking married women. Women with boyfriends, fine. That doesn't mean anything. But when a woman is married, that has meaning. And you have some risk there. So I would do it. Yes, I've done it, but it was a very long time ago. I haven't done it in more than 10 years. One of my fantasies is to have a threesome with an older 40-plus woman and younger woman 18 to 30. Done it. How would you go about facilitating that? Go read my article, and I think I have a course on how to do threesomes. Go set it up. Doesn't matter how old she is. That just means that when you have threesomes, there's a main girl and a side girl. The older woman has to be the main girl, obviously. Obviously. So just follow my model. There's a blog. I think I have a blog post about exactly how to do it. I'm an extreme introvert and have tried Bumble, Tinder, and Hinge. 93% of women I matched on Tinder were OnlyFans girls. 99% of the women I matched on Tinder were OnlyFans girls. Should I supplement with day game? That has nothing to do with being an introvert. I don't know why you brought that up. It has to do with your photos. Your photos suck ass. Get new photos. I live in Jersey, about 1 hour from Manhattan. Get new photos. Get my book, onlinedatingsuccessnow.com. Go get that book. Follow everything in that book. I have a feeling your photos suck. And most men's photos suck. I have a female friend that's a virgin, but still gives me head, no sex. Is that beta? If you tolerate that over and over again, yes, it's beta. Yeah. Once or twice, fine. In my opinion, yeah. Because why are you tolerating that? Shouldn't you be banging 3 or 4 other girls who let you have sex like a normal human? And by the way, I would have a talk with her. A very sweet talk with her. There's a technique on virgins. Very sweet, loving. Hey, I don't think you're trying very hard. You need to try a little harder. I finally reached the 3rd year of my doctorate program, but I'm still financially dependent on my parents. You're in a doctorate program? Ugh. My parents gave me drama about spending their money on dating apps. Should I get a job? How old are you? You sound very young. Here's what I would do if I were you. I don't know how old you are. I would quit my fucking college. No one should be going to college unless you want to be a doctor. I would quit college immediately. I would suck it up about my losses, and I would immediately go get a job. Yes. And I would separate from mom and dad immediately. How was the feedback and fallout from the Trump stream, Caleb? Much less than I thought. I was shocked. The comments over there, I don't get a lot of comments on my videos, but they were mostly positive. They're like, yeah, America's fucked. It doesn't matter if Abraham Lincoln was president. None of these guys are going to fix a fucking thing. So I was surprised. East Asian girl will only... Here's one thing. I think Trump supporters who worship Trump know not to fuck with me because they don't have the data. And they know I'm data-based. They can go scream at left-wingers because left-wingers are emotional and irrational. But my theory is that people in my audience who worship Trump are smart enough. Well, I can't yell at Caleb about these points I made about Trump because I don't have any points against this. So I'll just shut up. And I'll go on Tinder and yell at left-wingers. That's my theory. East Asian girl will only sleep with me under the condition of marriage. You don't know that for sure. You ignore what women say, only pay attention to what they do. I've had a lot of women say things like that, and I fuck them anyway. So you don't listen to women say, only pay attention to what they do. Best way to handle this, keep trying. Gently but strongly, gently. If no means no, okay, all that stuff. You keep trying, and eventually you say, I can't see anymore because I can't date a woman I can't have sex with. Even if I were to marry you someday, we have to have sex first. And then you leave and see what happens. Are you a fan of girls chase? What do you think of Chase and Monta? I like Chase. Chase is not a friend of mine, but an acquaintance. We've done business together. We've emailed. He's a good guy. I like Chase a lot. Would you do a cryptocurrency steam sometime soon? Do this pop-off happening soon? No, that is not my area of expertise. But I am officially a Bitcoin maximalist. I think Bitcoin's going to the moon later, not now. Video voice calls are more likely to scare off young ones. That is incorrect. Text more on the down low. You text them, but then you can ask. Voice, yes, but not video. No, you're incorrect. I've done it many times. You're incorrect. My brother just found out his girlfriend is cheating on him, but he won't leave her. What do I tell him? You leave him alone. Let betas be betas. You can't sit there and logically explain to a beta to stop being a beta. He's fucked. I know Dubai, one of them, but what cities have the highest concentration of tens of any race? Los Angeles, Dubai, Los Angeles. It used to be Miami, but not anymore. 10 years ago, Miami, but not now. Miami has gone way downhill. I'm trying to think. Tens? There's cities with hot girls, but you're asking about tens? Dubai? Oh, the Vegas Strip. Not Las Vegas, but the Vegas Strip. Both people who work there, women who work there, and women who visit there. That. Then we get into the types of women you like. So like Tokyo are the most beautiful women in the world, but they have small boobs. Do you like small boobs? I don't know. So there's an approximate answer. I need to drink water. Hang on, let me check the time here. Okay, a few more minutes and I gotta go. www. Why can't I talk? Let's try this one more time. www, and you have to type www. Caleb, CALEB, .top/SMIC. 300 plus hours of how-to Alpha Male 2.0 content. Literally my best stuff and my most private stuff available right now for a few $100, cheaper than any course you'll get with that level of information. Not available in any other course or any of my public content. You cannot get it as of Saturday. I turn this off on Saturday. You can't get it at all, at any price. You can't get it. If you're serious about Alpha Male 2.0 long-term happiness, you need to get that. That's my best stuff. Better than my books. I'm being honest with you. Better than my books. My books are awesome. My best stuff's in SMIC. It's my best stuff. Because it's stuff I can say privately with the guys. My brother wants to be an attorney. I know you mentioned college is okay for someone who wants to be a doctor. Would being an attorney be an exception to college too? Not anymore. Attorneys, there's a glut of attorneys in the marketplace. My wife, Pink Firefly, was going after a job a few years ago, and a job that was making like $45,000 a year, and a bunch of guys who are going after that same job were attorneys, going after a job for $45,000 a year. That's how bad it is to be an attorney. So no, you do not want to be an attorney. Terrible idea. And AI will put attorneys out of business. They won't put doctors out of business. They will put attorneys out of business. Being an attorney is a terrible idea right now. Great idea if this was 30 years ago. Yeah, back in the 90s, God, be an attorney. Not now. Jesus. Do you agree that most women over 8 do pay for play? No, I do not agree with that at all. That's completely incorrect. 51% of women over an 8 get paid for sex? Of course not. No, that's ridiculous. I am banging other girls. I have an OLTR. She's the virgin, just as on the side. Oh, that's a little better. Okay, that's a little better. I would still have a conversation. If you're having sex with women on a regular basis every week and she's kind of your side, oh, that's okay then. Caleb, good stuff as usual. Question, why do you think starting business in America is bad exactly? When did I ever say that? I never said that. You can start a business in America, go ahead. There's no competition as Gen Z are too wimpy and or have college debt, I've never said in my life, don't start a business in America. I said, leave America, leave. And you can start a location of business in America. Fine. You shouldn't live in America. You can start a business there, sure. Have you ever been with an Indian girl? I have not. That's one of the few races I have never been with. Indian. Now, I can't talk about that. The answer is no, I have not. I have not. That's one of the few races I have not been with. There's a few. Indian. I haven't found a lot of Indian girls I think are really hot. But I will say this. The hottest Indian girls in the world are not in India and they're not in the Western world. They're in Fiji. If you are attracted to Indian girls, young, smoking, hot Indian girls, tens, go to Fiji and go to Suva in Fiji. It's their only little town. You will not believe what you see. I didn't believe it. The hottest Indian girls on earth are in Fiji because those are the rich Indian families, and that richer families have better looking kids. And I don't understand why, but the answer is no. ASD does not sound logical. Graph should be inverse. What did I say about women and logic? Women don't behave logically. You're right. If ASD was logical, it would be huge from 18 to 23 because that's when most men want to fuck girls, right? And it would start getting lower and lower. Women are not logical. Women are insane. Men are dumb. Women are insane. Women don't do anything for logic. None of this makes any... Right. At 33, when you want to settle down with a man, and it's super important, you should be nicer about sex. You should be more relaxed about having sex more quickly. Not, I'm going to put a bunch of barriers to sex and piss off a bunch of men I could have married. None of this is logical. Correct. Although here's the problem. I've written articles about this and books. It works. Okay. If you're 33 and you're not super disgusting or fat, you can tell a guy, well, you need to wait 5 days. Most men are what? Beta males. So most men go, okay. So it works. Does Caleb Jones believe in global warming? Yeah, I don't just believe it. It's a fact. Global climate, not global warming, global climate change is a fact. The issue is, are human beings responsible for it, or is it just nature and the sun and the patterns of the earth? Instead, it's human beings are at fault for a percentage of it, but not all of it. And science doesn't have any consensus on what that percentage is. It might be 5%. Maybe human beings have fucked up the earth in terms of global climate change, 5%. Maybe it's 10%. Maybe it's 40%. I don't know. If you're a hardcore insane right-winger, you think it's 0%, although there's no data to back that up. If you're a hardcore woke left-winger, you think it's 100%. It's all men's fault. It's all people's fault. Again, stupid. It is somewhere between 1 and 99, and we don't know what that number is. But global climate change is real. It's a fact. It's not something you believe or disbelieve. It's a fact. What's your opinion on leveraging networks to grow and scale a business? Fantastic idea. That's something I'm not very good at. Billy is very good at this. Absolutely. A good book to read on that is called Dig Your Well Before You're Thirsty by Harvey McKay. I have to say thanks because your content has helped me. Cool. Indian girls, would you bang Kamala? Kamala is attractive, but she's not my type. So she's not my type, no, but she is attractive. I said that on the Trump thing. Kamala Harris is an attractive woman, but not my type. But I've seen Indian women I thought were hot, just not very many. Aside from Michael Saylor, who do you recommend we learn more about optimal crypto picks? There's a ton of YouTube channels on this, especially if you're speculating, which I don't. Are you in partnership with anyone selling some kind of crypto community membership like a coin? Yes. I'm losing their name off the top of my head. What are those guys' names? Yeah, the answer is yes, I am. We do JVs twice a year. Crypto. Oh, I should know their names and I don't. They're really good. I don't remember their names. Are you I will check out Fiji. Thanks. Are you a fan of any board games? Huge fan. But most of them are games that aren't published anymore. Best board game ever made is a game called Supremacy, which you can't buy anymore. It's World War III. It's fantastic. Oh yeah, I'm a big fan of board games. Huge. I played with my brother and my daughter and her girlfriend, her boyfriend, Twilight Imperium. Awesome. Thanks for streaming and offering your services. Your content helps me move closer to achieving my project's goals. Awesome. Investment advice. Invest in red wine. Okay, great. Well, she's a guy, so okay. Will you be able to check out the name of the crypto partnership sometime in an upcoming stream? Sure. It's on the tip of my tongue. 2 guys. One's based in Tokyo. My phone is my camera. Normally I could just pick up my phone and look, but I can't. My phone is my camera right now. All right. I'm going to let you guys go. I will see you guys for the next live podcast, which will be at Unchained CEO, 1 p.m. EST on Monday. Alpha Male 2.0 live podcast streams are always 1 p.m. EST on Wednesdays. And the topics of those two are already up on YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, etc. And I'm going to be posting the next 4 or 5 weeks of live streams soon. So you'll see all the topics coming up, including some you guys have recommended. Cool. I'm going to say it one more time because every time I do this, guys miss the deadline and say, can I buy it? No, you can't. www.caleb.top/SMIC. You've got literally 3 days left. This ends Saturday night. This is the most content you'll ever get for the money anywhere on the internet I've seen, and it's niched Alpha Male 2.0 content to make you in both your woman life and your professional life and your 5 flags life. I cover everything. Cool? Cool. See you guys soon. Bye.